This is your home for the Trojans. Girard Sports Live.
Snap and leans forward, and that's touchdown number 4 for Scott Moore.
Girard Sports Live is presented by Crawcan, your community technology partner. Learn more at ckt.net.
Brooks, throw over to Adolph, quickly down inside, wrap around Bowman, found herself in the right place, foul, and the bucket!
He'll try a 3 and hits. Adolph with it up top, being guarded by Gass. Girard down the lane, off the glass, and good. Nice instinct by Adolph to just take it to the bucket. Fielded on the short hop, fires this one across. Able to throw the runner out by a step and a half. Pitch to the outside to Ashbacher. Gets a good block on the outside, and he's in for the touchdown.
It's time for the Trojans. On your home for Girard High School Athletics. Girard Sports Live. Girard Sports Live.
And welcome to Girard Sports Live here in Girard for another home matchup for the Trojans hosting the Anderson County Bulldogs in the start of a 3-game home stretch. I'm Drake Miller here, joined by Caleb Humble, and we will be taking you through the action tonight. Girard Sports Live is presented by Crawcan, your community technology partner. Don't get bit by slow speeds and high prices. Get Gigabit, the fastest internet in Southeast Kansas with Crawcan. To learn more, go to ruralfiber.org or see everything Crawcan has to offer at ckt.net. And that will take us straight into the pre-game show, which is brought to you by Community National Bank and Trust. Serving the area for over 30 years, stop in soon to pick up your very own Girard Trojan Instant Issue Mascot Debit Card. Community National Bank and Trust is a proud supporter of Girard Schools. Equal housing lender, member FDIC. Learn more online at mybankcnb.com. Caleb, we had a fun night last night over in Labette County. Of course, that did end in a even 1-1 push between the girls and the boys game. The girls taking down the victory for the Trojans. The boys coming up 1 point shy of getting one themselves. And but still a lot of fun that we had there last night. We have a couple of new developments today, one of which being the injury list for this Trojan squad. Caleb, you've got the insight. Let us know what's going on there.
And so for the injury list, the biggest thing for the Trojans team tonight is the fact that Maddie Kester does look back in action and that she will be joining the starting lineup once again. I believe the only injury that the Trojans will have tonight is Erica Boatman, and she is still dealing with that ankle. So I think Coach Herlocker's just having her keep it safe, play it safe for this game, and move on to next week where hopefully you can get the entire team back together.
Yeah, we saw an absolute foul fest last night. I believe even into the fourth. I didn't watch that fourth quarter back, but it's up until the fourth at least. I know for a fact both teams entered bonus in all 3 quarters, and I'm guessing, I believe actually only Girard did in the fourth. I don't think they had 5 fouls and it put Labette County in bonus. But both teams, all 3 quarters, and then Girard in the fourth. Only one team, 1 quarter, wasn't in foul trouble, and that was Girard in the fourth. So we'll get to see if anything changes tonight. Of course, we kind of deliberated afterwards. A couple of those calls probably not really necessary by most standards, and even Urlacher made a comment in the post-game interview saying, you know, hey, there's probably a couple of those that could have gone uncalled.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing of just, I have a feeling fouls won't be as big of a factor as they were tonight. It's every night it seems like we have a different officiating crew, and they're all just doing their jobs. And so It just depends on how lenient they're going to be with physicality in the game. And so I do think tonight it'll probably be a little less foul-ridden, and there should be more basketball being played rather than free throws being shot.
Well, I would sure hope it's less foul-ridden. I don't know if you can get much more than what we had last night. But let's go ahead and run through a couple of these pregame notes that I've got here for records and schedule recap for Anderson County. Right now they sit at 4-13. Not a very nice-looking record for them. They're 5th in the Pioneer Basketball District, which is owned by Burlington right now, who reigns first in that district. But a positive side for this Anderson County team is their lowest scoring game is 35 points, which is a pretty solid performance for being a team that's collected 13 losses this season. They've got wins against Iola, Central Heights, Fredonia, and Prairie View. And then up next, they've got Iola on the 13th, as well as Wellsville on the 17th. So it should be a couple of opportunities for this team to maybe collect some wins. But, of course, they're going to be looking to take down the Trojans tonight and get that win streak started. But they will have their hands full. As the Trojans right now, they're averaging 50 points a game, 6th in the Pomona West Franklin region, which has 2 other CNC teams above Girard right now. Riverton at 3rd, Frontenac at 5th. And then they're on a 3-game home stretch right now at the start of it. They've got Anderson County, followed by Columbus, and then Riverton again, who they lost to just a month ago. 28-38 was the final score of that at Riverton. They're on a 2-game win streak, which is tied for the longest since break. Looking to continue that and get it up to, well, they should, just based on record alone, get it up to a 4-game win streak. They took down Columbus earlier in the season as well, so probably writing that one down as an expected victory. And then tonight, of course, playing against a team that's 4-13, probably expect the same. But like I said, this team is known to put up points. They're not going to really just let this one get super out of hand. I doubt we go into turbo clock towards the 4th quarter, so this is going to be something that the Girard Trojans, they're still going to have to put up a couple of points because they've had some of those low-scoring games.
And I do think one of the most interesting things about this team is, like how you said, if they're a high-scoring team and to lose that many games, there's got to be some issue on your defensive side of things. And so for the Trojans tonight, I'm really excited to see where the scoring is going to come from. And just one of the things was I was talking to Marley Sisney in class earlier today, and she was talking about how really it's just any one of these players can score at any given night. And that's the exact thing that we've been saying for weeks now, of just it can be anyone. And knowing that the players also believe that is going to be a big thing of just scoring-wise and that mentality. And so I think going forward, the offense will be a big part of this game just for the Trojans. And then going backwards a little bit with the history between these two teams, looking back over the last 10 years, Girard versus Anderson County, Girard has won 5 of the 8 matchups, with Anderson County taking 3 of them. And so last year the Trojans beat Anderson County during a homecoming game, and so it'll be interesting to see how they'll be able to bounce back and see if they can get another win to expand that record.
Yeah, that was only a year from tomorrow. That was on February 7th, 2025. Girard taking the win 48-15, but this success is not long-lived, as in 2024, Anderson County did take the win 48-40. So the past 2 years, the winning team has scored 48 points, and with Anderson County scoring 35 plus, you can expect that difference to be about 13, maybe 10 points right now. But obviously that's just going off of statistics. That's 100. I would bet money that's not how this game is going to pan out.
And I mean, ever since I've been in high school, the last 3 years, it's been 1-2 for the Trojans up against Anderson County. And so as of recently, the Bulldogs have been the team that has come out victorious whenever these two teams match up. But definitely tonight, I think this Trojan team will have the advantage with their record, and I think this will be a good game, a high-scoring game, hopefully.
Well, Caleb, let's go ahead and take a look at the matchups from around the area, brought to you by Diskins Auto and Towing, 120 East Forest Avenue in downtown Girard. Diskins offers 24-hour towing and can repair all makes and models. To learn more, contact Diskins Auto and Towing at 620-724-8100. Caleb, what do we got for around the CNC?
Looking at those CNC matchups, it will start tonight with Baxter facing up against Galena. Colgan is facing up against Columbus. You've got Frontenac versus Riverton. And finally, that last CNC team is us, the home team Girard, facing up against Anderson County. So a CNC-filled night except for us here at Girard.
Yeah, and I think, you know, you've got at least two of those games. The Baxter and Galena one should be a pretty good one. Both of those teams pretty well on kind of the same page this season. Not having the best record, but I think they both play with a very similar style. So that should be a fun one to see if any of you guys are attending that game or are listening to it on some other platform. And then you've got Frontenac versus Riverton, which that is going to be a very big one. Those are two top dogs in the region, two top dogs in the CNC right now. I mean, the young Frontenac squad taking on the Riverton team that just is able to shut down offenses. That'll be a fun one to look at. But let's go ahead and jump into some quick keys to the game right now that are brought to you by tonight's Girard Trojans Booster Club game day sponsor, which will be Exchange State Bank. Exchange State Bank has proudly served Girard and Crawford County for 30 years as a locally owned and operated bank with offices in Girard, Columbus, and St. Paul. We're committed to providing personalized quality customer service. Thanks to tonight's game day sponsor, Exchange State Bank, member FDIC. And for me, Caleb, I think the key to this game for Girard has to be turning the defense into the offense.
And I think that's one of the things that we saw yesterday that was just so impactful for this game, of just knowing that if you get those defensive stops, that's when your offense came. And I think it was early, either late in that first or early in that second quarter yesterday, that we saw almost 8 points immediately for the Trojans just off of 2 quick turnovers, and then another stop just to give the Trojans the ball again. That was within maybe a minute or two. And so just, if you can get those stops and get it into quick scoring, that's going to be how you can win this game.
Steals, pressure, and limiting turnovers has been to the advantage of the Trojans. We'll go ahead and step aside for the national anthem, and we'll be right back after this with starting lineups. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Girard Sports Live.
At this time, please rise if you are able and remove your hats for the presentation of our colors and the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance The national anthem is performed this evening by the Girard High School Band under the direction of Mr. Willie Abady.
And we're back on Girard Sports Live. Caleb, why don't you go ahead and introduce your Girard Trojans starters for tonight's ball game?
And it looks like these starters will be similar to what we've seen before, starting with number 10, a 5'9 junior, Marley Sisney. And number 12, a 5'9 junior, Kennedy Keller. Number 14, a 5'10 senior, Maddie Kester. Number 22, a 5'6 junior, Carson Orand. And number 24, a 5'6 junior, August Mooneyham.
On the other side of things, for the away team, Anderson County Bulldogs, starting off with number 2, the sophomore Addie Summer. Number 5, the senior Hope Hill. Number 14, the junior Brooklyn Kellerman. Number 15, the senior Addie Keyser. And number 25, the junior Riley Hill. So 2 Hills popping up on that starting lineup for Anderson County, as they've got a bit of a, I would say, on average, an older squad than this Girard team.
And I think just looking at that matchup, I mean, experience-wise, these teams should match up fairly even with, it looks like the Bulldogs will have 1 senior, a 2nd senior, and then, I mean, the age difference really averages out to about the same, so not a ton of experience difference, but I think whenever you think of the Girard Trojans team, one of the things you think of is just a lot of the experience comes whenever you're younger with Coach Herlocker, of those last minutes that the freshmen and the sophomores get to play in those varsity games. And so a lot of these girls have been playing at the varsity level since they were freshmen. And so just a lot of experience if you're a Girard Trojan playing under Brad Herlocker.
Well, this opening tip-off is brought to you by Farmers Bank. Farmers Bank is proud to have helped the growth and development of the communities we serve. Farmers Bank is looking forward to a brighter tomorrow. Farmers Bank with locations in Hepler, Walnut, St. Paul, and Girard. The first of the three home game series underway as Girard wins the tip. Bit of a slimmer crowd here on the Friday night ball game. Game time start 6:04 as they swing it over to Orand. It's tipped, but well recovered. Hope Hill got her hand on it. Mooneyham fires from the point. It won't go, and it's rebounded by Anderson County. Kester wearing that sleeve in acknowledgement of her injury a couple of games ago, and now we've got a foul called underneath. On the shot was Hope Hill, and now she will be headed to the line for 2. Foul called against August Mooneyham.
And so for the Trojans, I think the biggest thing for this team tonight is you have to keep up with the scoring. We've talked about before how this Anderson County team can really take off in scoring and how they're no strangers to really getting buckets. And so the biggest thing is just you can't let them just keep scoring and make that lead grow if you're the Trojans. And one of the things that has been very successful in these last couple of games for these Lady Trojans is that they've grown a 10-point lead or so just early on, and then they've kind of just ride with that for the rest of the game.
Free throws are good from Hope Hill of Anderson County as Girard works it into Kester. The pass from Keller on the outside. Now Kester will be headed to the line to shoot 2 and attempt to tie this game up. We'll get to see our first look, see if her form has changed any. We were talking before the game about that injury, a little bit of swelling around the elbow, but doctors said that she was fine, not any serious injuries, so returning back tonight. And goes 2 for 2 from the free throw line, not showing any signs of wear on that right elbow. Kester gets a takeaway now as they work it to Orand up top, and now Mooneyham on the perimeter. They swing it around. Orand finds herself available for 3. Can't go. It's rebounded by the Trojans. Sisney goes back up and is fouled. So now Marley Sisney gets her chance from the foul stripe. Still no buckets on the floor.
And so far we had said that we were kind of hoping that there wouldn't be as many fouls as last night, but about a little over a minute in, and there's already 3 just shooting fouls just under the bucket of just kind of playing careless defense very early on.
Keyser gets dished the foul against Sisney, who takes the lead. And one thing that I feel like we've been missing from the rest of the games that we've called this week, as Oran forces a turnover on the near sideline, was the early Mooneyham 3. We saw that in both games so far this week, and we saw the chance from the point earlier, and that did not fall, and now we see a turnover.
And that is something that I had talked to Mooneyham about today, was asking her if that's how they were planning to start every game from now on, and she had said that she sure hopes so.
Well, she tried it. We'll see if she gets another chance on another possession soon. Sisney goes off the glass, too strong, out of bounds. A lot of out of bounds calls here, 3 in a row, all going against Anderson County. So this one's out to Mooneyham. Here we go, just shy of swishing that one home. And Oran gets a takeaway. Ooh, bit of a quick jump ball call, but not anything that's gonna hurt the Trojans, as the possession arrow goes in their favor.
It looks like the scores table will debate that and try to send it the other way.
Yeah,
I believe Maddie did win jump ball, so should be the Bulldogs' possession, but wouldn't mind another free possession.
Well, regardless, they're gonna expire that possession arrow for the Bulldogs. So now Anderson County, who had possession after the rebound, just kind of wastes that rebound and forces a jump ball. Great play by Oran. And now the full court press continues. This is something that Girard tries to take advantage of early on in some contests. Here's Hill, tries to drop in the 2 and gets it to go.
And so far with that full court press, that's something that you and me have talked about before, of just that we wouldn't hate to see that implemented more, just because that's where those steals and then those quick points off of turnovers can come from.
Notice the teams that Urlacher elects to do this against are the teams that have a little bit weaker ball handling skills. Not necessarily weaker on the shooting capacity, as we see Kester get the charge down low. Unfortunate from her, but the feet were set. Wasn't anything overly physical, but now she's gonna hit the bench and is holding that arm. So that is of concern right now, as Kester's gonna leave this one pretty early.
And I don't know how severe her injury technically really is, but that's never a good sign to see one of your players come right back from injury and then head to the bench pretty early on.
Yeah, and we discussed this in the pregame as well, about potentially saving Kester against some of these teams that have lower records, and then trying to get her healthy for that Riverton game. That might be something that Urlacher's going to take into account here now. Hill works it out and around to Kellerman. Back to Hope Hill. Looks to drive, kicks back out to Riley Hill, and now the shot goes up. Won't go from Summer. Out of bounds on the Bulldogs. 5:20 to go. It's a pretty low-scoring game so far.
And so far, there's just kind of been a few points, a few fouls, a few turnovers, just kind of very steady pace going currently.
They swing it over, Sisney. Riley Black actually was the one to check in for whistle blown. Like I was saying, Riley Black checked in for Kester. I think they said it nicked the scoreboard or the shot clock.
I believe you're correct.
Or either that or they said it went over the backboard. Regardless, Either or would be an out of bounds. As Oran finds a wide open pass but can't collect it. Does slow down that progression just a little bit. As here's Lindsey Hughes trying to take it to the corner. They work it around to Summer. And now Rockers. Cross the court pass into the paint is taken away. Sisney strips it. Black tries to get past the defender, Summer, and gets fouled in the process.
So far, I mean, 3 fouls apiece. We had said that we were hoping for a little bit more physical basketball tonight, and that may not be the case.
Well, and 3 fouls apiece, but Addie Summer has 2 of them for the Bulldogs as Callie Trezona checks in for, trying to find who she subbed in for. It looks like Mooneyham. Sisney gets the drop in too to take the lead right back for Girard. Ball passed and tipped out of bounds. Off the hands of the Trojans.
And I mean, so far, I really do think the Trojans are finding that success in the heavy pressure coming down the court. And I mean, that's what's helping them. And they've gotten balls poked away. They've gotten a turnover from it. If they continue to do that, I know it's exhausting, but.
That one's stripped as well. Sisney gets on the floor with Hughes to force the jump ball, and now it's back into Girard possession. Over halfway through the first, less than double-digit points between these two squads as Sisney tries to open up the perimeter, and that she does. She's been feeling it from outside the arc as of recent.
And I believe that is now, Marley is 4 for 5 on her last attempts throughout the last 2 games, and so very efficient for high school basketball and basketball just in general.
The leading scorer last night against Labette County, spoken highly of by Coach Erlacher, and rightfully so, as she was kind of forced to step up into a big position and did so promptly. Here's the Bulldogs' Hughes trying to get around and a double dribble as she puts the ball on the floor again, and now we've got a call for a foul from the stands. Very loud fan wanting a foul call. Sisney and Oran working the perimeter. Sisney had some space there. Surprised to see her not try to take that one again as Black hands it back off to her. 17 on the shot clock. Sisney fires from deep, can't go. Rebound is off the hands of the Bulldogs and out of bounds. That was Lindsey Hughes last touching it. Inbound to Sisney. Ooh, she wanted it again. Now drives and gets fouled. Will be shooting 2. I don't even think she let go of the ball there.
I don't think so. And I mean, we talked about Marley's efficiency just from 3, but she's also been incredible with the free throws as of recently. I think yesterday she maybe missed 1 and she shot 7 or 8. And so
she's been very efficient from 3. She's been able to drive the paint as well. One of the, I would say, more physical players underneath. You've got her and Keller that are able to really drive through some bodies and get a little bit physical, get dirty on the layups. Got a couple other players on there as well. Those were just the 2 that came to mind on the floor.
And I mean, there's that physicality that we're talking about from Kennedy Keller, just to get in there and force the ball to stay on this side of the court.
Inbound to Sisney as she takes it up to the point, swings it over to Oran on the near side. So they keep it on the outside. Keller now looking for a chance to drive, can't get past her defender. Swings it deep to Oran, who drives inside, gets the shot off, but they'll say it's on the floor. for the foul, but that actually will be free throws.
Number 3, Laura Rockers, first personal foul, team foul number 5.
With that being the first foul for Mara Rockers and the 5th team foul. So Orand will get to shoot free throws here, being in bonus. I believe I just saw Coach Ferguson of the Bulldogs discussing that she didn't think it was a shooting foul, and the referee was like, they're in bonus, and she laughed it off. That was kind of a funny interaction that I observed right there. This one taken all the way to the paint. Hope Hill drives past Trojans and up and in for 2. Keeps it out of one possession game, a long one possession as Keller takes her shot from mid-range. That's off the rim, no good. Orand now kicks it over. Sisney finds herself for the triple, just short. Rebound Trojans, back around to the perimeter, 25 on the shot clock. As Black finds herself in the corner, that's her sweet spot. Can't go again, but Sisney gathers the rebound. It's out of bounds on the Bulldogs.
And I mean, this is what we've talked about, that in some of those games the Trojans weren't able to get just those second, third, fourth chance opportunities, and being able to get those is what's going to help you, I mean, increase the score and just give yourself that edge in this game.
Mooneyham checks in for Sisney. Black off the glass and in for 2. Right off the inbound, a well drawn up play by Urlacher. Hill over to Rockers for the 3. Can't go. Mooneyham gets down on the floor, forces the jump ball, and it'll stay with Anderson County here on their side. Riley Hill checks in for Anderson County as they get it into Hope Hill. Off the glass and in. Bank shots from the elbow. Trojans working the paint. Kicks it out. Keller in for 2 and 1. Kennedy Keller once again showing her prowess, fighting through the physicality of the paint.
And I think whenever you think of Kennedy Keller, she's just one of those more physical players on the court, but there are tons of girls on this team that we could just list off of how physical they are and how willing they are to get in the paint and fight through contact or get on the ground and fight for a rebound or fight for a loose ball. And so just tough play from this entire team.
Trojans gets a nice tip out of bounds, slows the progression of this Bulldog offense with 1:25 to go here in the first. The shot well short. I think either Keller or Mooneyham got their hand on it as Brooklyn Kellerman was winding up for the 3. Inside of 80 seconds, Keller on the far side kicks it to Mooneyham. Back to Orand, and now Mooneyham from the wing. Hard off the glass, rebound Trojans. She's fouled and will be headed to the line. I believe that will be the 7th from Anderson County this quarter. I don't think it's an official thing this time.
And I mean, the Trojans are playing a lot cleaner game with only 3 fouls called against them, but if Anderson County is going to continue to send the Trojans to the line and keep the Trojans in the bonus, it'll definitely help them with this scoring efficient team for Anderson County.
Well, not to mention you've got 2 of your starters sitting at 2 fouls apiece for Anderson County. Just not the territory you'd like to be in at this stage in the game. That's foul trouble even for the second quarter.
And I mean, 2 fouls, that's just, you get 5, and so it's the first quarter, still a minute in, and that, like you're saying, there's definitely a chance that some of these Bulldogs could get in foul trouble very early on. starting in the second quarter.
Into the final 60 for the first quarter. Mooneyham trying to work away a defender. Sisney back up top to Oran, and now Sisney open for the three. It's that same spot again. Her and Mooneyham have gone a little bit cold there, as that one's hard off the rim, and now down the other side of the floor. Hughes back up top to Kellerman, who drives, can't get the layup. Black with the rebound, and now Mooneyham pushing the pace. And we've got, I believe, a block foul. Called against Addie Keyser, as I think Mooneyham made an effort to try and get around her, and she just kind of stretched out and got in front of her again. That's what that's going to be. Had her feet set before, but got to keep them. First one is off from Mooneyham. Second. Is off the back iron. She gets her own rebound, but stumbles on her way through the paint. Black with a nice takeaway, and she's fouled. And that is going to go against the same number 15, Addie Keyser.
And that'll be her third foul.
Yeah, that's her third in the first quarter, and that brings the Bulldogs to 9 fouls. I'm all for, you're playing a really aggressive team. You're playing a strong team in the paint. So you've got to feel like you up the physicality, but at some point you got to start to pull back and give yourself a chance.
And I think, at this rate, if the Bulldogs just continue to foul like this, you're not going to have many players left. And looking at the bench, there's not many players to begin with for this team. So definitely want to tone it down. 9
total active in this contest so far, meaning they've had 4 come off the bench. So they have a little bit of room to work with, but 9 fouls a quarter is a number that you certainly want to bring down. And Keller, I think she thought she just had to chuck it up there, was trying to kick it out. And it was put up by Anderson County, no good. We will take a break here. 16-8 is the score as we take it into the second quarter. We'll be right back after this.
Farmers Bank is a proud supporter of Girard schools. For generations, Farmers Bank has worked with local leaders, businesses, and residents to help shape the future of Southeast Kansas. Farmers Bank is proud to have helped with the growth and development of the communities we serve. As partners in business and friends in life, Farmers Bank is looking forward to a brighter tomorrow. Farmers Bank, with locations in Hepler, Walnut, St. Paul, and Girard. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand that a scary part of figuring out your future isn't only answering the question, what should I do, but where do I belong? Maybe you belong here, studying animal science or learning about farm and ranch management. Maybe you belong here as part of Hounds Hoops on the hardwood. I don't know where you've been or where you're headed, but I know we're saving a spot for you because you belong at Fort Scott Community College.
Back on Girard Sports Live. Trojans were able to double the score of Anderson County in the first quarter, 8-16, as we take it into the second. A lot of fouls there from Anderson County. If you're just tuning in, it's been a very tough first 8 minutes for the Bulldogs.
It hasn't been very high scoring for either of these teams. The Trojans had about 24 in the first quarter yesterday. And so you would have liked to see that again. But for this Bulldogs team, like how you were saying in that pregame show, just that this is a high-scoring team and that they have that ability to score. And you almost think that maybe some of those fouls are holding them back, and just some of that defense from Girard that we've known has been so great, like that full-court press has been a big reason of why these Bulldogs may have struggled in the first quarter.
Discussion as Mooneyham re-enters the game. Just wondering if maybe she had a cut or something that they were trying to fix up, but I don't know for sure what the deliberation there between the officials was. As Oran looks to drive, catches a block foul, and that is going to be the third against Hope Hill. So putting her in some pretty big foul trouble early in the second.
And so that's
whoa.
They called it on number 2. That would be.
Well, that's Addie Summer, but that's her third anyways as well. So regardless, another player in foul trouble as a big time pass from Briley Black, but her and Oran collide. So they were trying to keep that possession alive. Oran pulls the trigger from deep. Just short on that try, and it's rebounded by the Bulldogs. Down the floor, Kellerman takes it to the opposite side and now works it over to Hill. Hughes now with it, looking to drive the paint. Out to Hope Hill. And inside to Kellerman as we've got a foul called. I believe this is Kennedy Keller. So Kennedy Keller gets her first foul and only the 4th total out of Girard so far in this contest, which may seem like it's, pretty normal, but in comparison to that Anderson County number, very few.
And I mean, Anderson County has now, is it 11 fouls in this game? And so 11-4, I mean, that's easy math. The Trojans are definitely behind in the foul category, and that's something that you want to see for Coach Herlocker.
Brooklyn Kellerman gets a timeout called here on the backside of the floor, so we'll take a second to acknowledge this break in the action, which is brought to you by Southeast Kansas Player Health Alliance and Live Well Crawford County, reminding you to know your limits when gambling and know when the game is playing you. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-426-2537 for free assistance. Back on the floor, 18-8 score, 6:42 remaining in the second. It's been a slow progressing game, mostly with the whistles blown. But I gotta say, it's not been for light physicality. It's just been the Bulldogs trying to keep up with Girard and doing what they can to try and slow this game down and put it in their favor.
And I think just the physical aspect of Girard is what is causing all these fouls of the Bulldogs trying to match it, and they don't have that same ability to play clean defense while also playing physical.
Hill's shot ends up in a blank, and the pass down court from Keller does not end in the hands of a Trojan, and now Mooneyham will get called for a foul as she tries to reach in and strip that ball away. That is something that with the Bulldogs, they have not been able to draw as often. But right now in this quarter, they've been much better at. Trojans with another takeaway. Black shot ends up in the hands of Kellerman as she works down the floor and across the court to Carey. Kellerman working the point. Inside to Hope Hill, who gets it poked out. And now a collision between Hill and Carey as Hill hits the floor. Keller drops in the 2. And I'm surprised there's not a timeout called here to check in on who seems to be one of your more successful players in Hope Hill.
And I believe this is the point of the game where the Trojans may finally start to kind of grow that lead and pull things away, and that's going to be the big thing going into half, is that if you can have that lead like you've had in these past couple of games, this win streak will continue.
Scoreless second quarter so far here for Anderson County as driving the paints and losing the ball is Lily Kent. Just time after time not able to execute on open opportunities as that baseline was pretty available. Trojans takes the 2, can't go. Rebounded by Hope Hill. Over to Kent, who gets a little happy feet, and I noticed it too.
And I mean, for the Bulldogs, they just can't seem to find an opportunity on the offensive side of things. It's either just turnovers caused by themselves or caused by the Trojans, and so not really opportunities to even shoot at the basket.
First quarter, it seemed like the Trojans were forcing the turnovers, and this quarter, Anderson County pretty much beating themselves, just giving the ball away, whether it's stepping out of bounds or whatnot. Off the glass for Orand. Keller tries to go back up and is fouled. See who that goes against. That'll be Lindsay Hughes. Hughes gets her first. And Keller hits the foul stripe to try and advance this game to a 14-point lead. That one's a little left. Second one, the adjustment is made. Briley Black checks back into the game for Kennedy Keller, as we have still only seen 2 substitutions in this game, and with Maddie Kester being out with what I would assume the remainder of the game, you're back to kind of that situation that you had yesterday, except Orand keeping herself in clean out of foul trouble as Briley Black hits the floor hard with Hope Hill. Hill has just been beaten up on this side of the floor.
Taking shot after shot, and like you were saying with the Trojans, it'll be interesting to see if Coach Herlocker decides to go like how he did yesterday, dive into that bench and get some of those new faces into the game. But so far in the game, I think the Trojans that have been playing have done a great job of managing and staying on top.
Another Anderson County player hits the deck. And that one was just loud. Lindsay Carey. And all 5 of them are lined up. Gotta have somebody inbound it. Lily Kent will step up as she dishes it to Kellerman, who tries to drive, draws the foul. Let's see who this goes against. And that is Mooneyham.
That will be her 3rd foul. And so Augie's the only one with 3. The team has 6 on the night.
The only one with multiple for the Trojans. And I thought Orand got a little handsy there over Mooneyham, but I couldn't quite see Mooneyham. She was getting body blocked. But regardless, Anderson County working the offense now. 20 seconds as Kellerman fires from 3. Can't get it to go. Mooneyham with the takeoff as she works all the way to the paint. Good for another 2. And this Girard defense holding strong on all facets of the floor. Lily Kent lets it go out of bounds again.
It looks like with Augie's 3 fouls, both her and Marley Sisney will check out of the game. Kennedy Keller will check back in alongside, I believe that is Macy Munkin.
Yeah. So Munkin, who we talked about having limited quarters available to play in varsity matches, obviously being one of the stars on that JV team, as we've got a jump ball. Very awkward spot for Carson Orand, as she had Kennedy Keller and Carey underneath her and was just trying to keep from falling on top of one of them. Inbound makes its way. Munkin will be headed to the line now with another foul call. And that'll be Hughes' second, which puts her right alongside Hope Hill in semi-foul trouble. She's on pace for 4 fouls in the game as Munkin gets her first point of the game. But like I was saying about Macy Munkin, only being able to play 6 quarters a night, so being one of the stars on that JV squad, she assumingly played all 4 quarters in the JV game, so she will play here in the second. She'll only get to attend the floor in 1 more quarter in this contest, so I'm assuming Coach Erlocker will want to save her for the 4th. Keller gets called for the travel as she got the takeaway on the Anderson County side.
So far, definitely in the second quarter, the Bulldogs have played a cleaner game on defense, just a lot less fouls than 9.
Big play from Macy Munkin as she gets physical with it with Riley Hill. Both of them hitting the floor with the jump ball, and now Anderson County forced to use their possession arrow and inbound this one. Carey kicks out, Hill over to Kellerman, and I don't know if that was a pass or a shot, but regardless, it was too much in between, over the head of Carey and out of bounds on the Bulldogs, who are still scoreless through the second. 3:07 to go.
And I mean, for the Trojan team, if you're holding one of these top scoring teams scoreless in a quarter, you're doing something right on the defensive side. And so for the Trojans, that's just the biggest thing, is that if you can continue to keep this scoring going, you're going to be able to just grow this lead until it's too much for the Bulldogs to come back with.
Lane violation called on the Trojans there, as Anderson County looks to work this across midcourt with Lily Kent. Takeaway by Keller. Pass deep to Oran, and it's just a little too far off the fingertips and out of bounds. Been a slower scoring spree for Girard as well this quarter, though. Only 9 points through 5.5 minutes. And now we've got a foul called, which will be the 4th of the Trojans for team fouls here in the second. See who this goes against. That will be Avery Brooks getting her first. And now Kellerman flips it to Kent, who loses it again. And we've got another foul called on the floor. And that is Hope Hill. That is her 3rd. So 3 players at 3 fouls, 1 at 2 and 1 at 1 for Anderson County.
And I mean, just, we had talked about hoping that this game was a little less foul ridden, but so far I honestly don't think it's really the refs as much as it might have been last night. It's more of the players just playing physical and getting called out for it.
Just got to be able to control your body out here on the floor, because I don't see a lot of intention behind some of these fouls, but now Oran had the poke away, but gets called for the foul, her 2nd. Now things starting to get, I don't want to say this with, one of the first fouls that we've seen out of Carson Oran, or the 2nd that we've seen out of her, but now getting a little bit into the territory of what we were seeing last night.
And that's one of the things that we saw last night, and that's a comment that Maddie Kester had even made, that last night she said that it seemed like you were watching the future of Girard basketball, with just neither of your seniors playing and just a lot of those younger faces getting into the game. And so just another showcase of what that might be like for tonight, which is those younger faces matching up against some of these regular starters for these other teams.
First point for Anderson County comes from the foul stripe as Brooks dishes it down low to Trojans, who tries her luck. Can't get it. Keller with the putback in for two. Down the floor, Anderson County cannot get a bucket to fall as Trojans takes it back to the Girard side. 90 seconds remaining. As Keller works it over to Sisney. Back to Brooks. And back up top to the point. Brooks finds herself for three. Can't get it, just a little short on that try. And the three ball has gone ice cold out of this Trojans team.
And besides that 1-3 from Marley early in the first quarter, the rest of the scoring has come from just either layups or free throws.
Kent looking to pass it away, and a great heads-up play from Macy Munkin. Forces the jump ball, and now Girard will take over on the inbound. Sisney at the point as they continue to work the perimeter here. Brooks back up top, and we've got a travel called on Avery Brooks as she was working inside and actually made the bucket afterwards as well. Just unfortunate. This one's tapped away. Keller pokes it out of bounds. Slows the roll of this Bulldogs team.
As you mentioned previously, scoring has definitely slowed down for both teams now throughout this second quarter.
Kellerman heavily contested on that shot by what looked to be 2 or 3 Trojans in the area. Sisney now takes it across midcourt and will work with the young offense. Keller takes it off the glass. The bank is open for Kennedy Keller.
With just 20 seconds left in this first half, shot clock will be turned off.
And a travel called, as that would have been the first bucket from the floor, and more than likely the only one out of Anderson County, as they have had 1 point in this quarter from a team that is consistent on offense. They have been absolutely silent tonight. Sisney from way downtown, off the rim and out at the buzzer. 29-9 is the score at the end of the second quarter. It's been an entertaining one here if you're a Trojans fan, but if you are a Anderson County fan, a lot of work left to do here in the second half. We'll take a break. We'll be right back after this.
Since 1918, GN Bank has been the heart of our community. Big enough to meet all your banking needs, but small enough to offer that personal touch you deserve. From agricultural loans to home mortgages, GN Bank has the expertise, products, and service to help you thrive. With a pledge to treat others ethically, be adaptable, focus on customers, and invest in the communities they serve, GN Bank is committed to your success. The best place to bank and borrow, GN Bank, where community banking truly comes first. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Welcome to Homestead of Girard, assisted and independent living right here in our hometown. At Homestead, seniors enjoy compassionate care in a community designed for comfort. Licensed professionals provide support with daily activities, dressing, bathing, and medication management. Residents enjoy home-cooked meals and the comfort of their own private apartment. Call 620-724-6760 to schedule your tour today. Homestead of Girard, senior living with compassion, comfort, and community.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand that a scary part of figuring out your future isn't only answering the question, what should I do, but where do I belong? Maybe you belong here as part of Fort Scott Community College's John Deere Tech program. Maybe you belong here as part of the perennial playoff-bound Greyhound baseball team. I don't know where you've been or where you're headed, but I know we're saving a spot for you because you belong at Fort Scott Community College.
More than just your neighborhood pharmacy, Mathis Drug is your hometown partner in health. With pharmacist Bria Scheibe and an experienced, highly trained staff, Mathis Drug is ready to serve you. And now, Mathis Drug offers comprehensive compounding, which is one of the few pharmacies in Southeast Kansas with this convenient on-site service. From medications to expert advice, call 620-261-9779. Mathis Drug Store, where community and care come together.
I was hoping to talk to someone about updating my insurance policy.
I am able to understand complete sentences.
That was a complete sentence?
I didn't understand that.
Why can't I just talk to a person?
No one talks to humans anymore.
Sometimes humans are just more helpful.
I hear you. Why don't we review your coverage with a super check?
Farm Bureau Financial Services. It's your future. Let's protect it.
Call Judd, Lori, Jenny, or Amber in Girard today.
Call's service is outstanding in their field, especially for those that are stuck, well, outstanding in their field. Call's carries a wide selection of farm, industrial, and heavy-duty tires, all from the best brands in the business. And they've got farm service trucks ready to go. Plus, Call's continues to be the place folks go for car and truck tires, repairs, oil changes, and so much more. If you're in the market for new tires in Southeast Kansas, make the right call to Call's Service, 620-724-4121. See more at callservicellc.com.
And we're back on the halftime show here in Fort Scott Sports Live, so get mixed up every now and then. Girard Sports Live, we're here in Girard for the halftime show, brought to you by GN Bank. Go ahead and roll into this halftime show. GN Bank, they've been providing customers with the highest quality financial services in a friendly and personal way for over 100 years. Personal, business, or agricultural needs, turn to GN Bank. Learn more at gn-bank.com. And as we take a look back at the first half, Girard Eye Care is here to make sure you can see what you're looking at. Girard Eye Care, with locations in Pittsburgh and Girard, is here to help their valued customers. Learn more at GirardEyeCare.com. Caleb, let's go ahead and take a glance at these stats. Tell me who's the leading scorer for both of these teams.
And so looking for the girls tonight, it does look like the Trojans' leading scorer is Kennedy Keller with 9, followed by Marley with 6. And then from there, really just everyone's kind of gotten a piece of the scoring, with Briley having 3, Maddie, Augie, and Macy Munkin all having 2, and then Carson and Callie both have 1. And so just very even scoring, with kind of Kennedy and Marley taking that leap forward with the scoring. The same thing that we had saw last night. From the other side of things, I believe the leading scorer is number 5, Hope Hill. And besides her, I'm not really sure there has been much scoring on their side of things with that vacant second period.
No, I mean, it's been ugly as of late for the Bulldogs. Right now on pace for 18 points in this game, which would be a season low for them. Right now their season low is sitting at 35. And as we look across the way at Kester, who's coming back out, we acknowledge the fact that her arm is pretty inflamed down there on her forearm. She's obviously a very strong lady, but I don't think that's an inflamed, or I don't think that's her muscle flexing. I think that's a bit of a concern there. So I doubt she sees the floor today, and I would say for Coach Urlacher, it's more than likely going to be a rest for her against Columbus as well, with how dominant they were earlier on in the season over the Titans.
And I mean, with just that big dominant win, you don't really necessarily need Maddie Kester in that game, just because, I mean, the players that we've seen tonight and even into those bench players have proven that they can play at this varsity level. And so with a team that's maybe not as competitive like Columbus, I definitely agree that Maddie may not be a necessity going into that game.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen it throughout the last couple of weeks, actually. Kennedy Keller and Marley Sisney really stepping into that leadership role for this squad, the two juniors, and that's such a positive in so many ways. Obviously, it's a positive in this season because you look at your two seniors both struggling with injuries. You're hoping that they recover at least come postseason time. I'm guessing Urlacher's biggest wish is he's like, please just be good to go come postseason time. And if not, you know, that's sports, you know, that's athletics. But like I said, always hoping for the utmost health of the players out here on the floor. But to see two juniors step up in the capacity that Sisney and Keller have, even tonight we see them both as the leading scorers. Keller with 11, Sisney with 6. Last night we saw Sisney with over 20 points, Keller with 11. It was just a big time performance from both of these ladies who you expect next season to step into those roles, to be the new Maddie Kester, the new Erica Boatman, and step into that leadership role where they're teaching players like Macy Munkin, Avery Brooks, who I'm assuming are going to find their stride on a varsity squad or maybe a little more time on a varsity team later on in their careers. But it's just such a great thing to see for Urlacher going forward as you look towards the future of this program.
And I think the biggest thing is just that you have those leadership in those two girls, but then you also have the leadership coming from Carson Oran that we've even seen this year of just Carson is, if you want to give her a player type, you can say that she is the floor general and that she really kind of facilitates everything going forward. And so if you have her facilitating what happens and then you have those two options from scoring, and we can't forget Augie Mooneyham also, which is her three-point ability and then her ability at the line and her ability inside of the paint to cut and get those easy layups, and even her ball handling skills is just a lot of positives that you can look forward to next season and into the future of if you do have your two seniors having to be sidelined for this stretch of games, you still have these juniors that can step up and fill those leadership roles.
Yeah, and those halftime stats were brought to you by B&B Excavating. The numbers don't lie, dirt is heavy, so trust the guys at B&B Excavating to move what needs moving, specializing in septic systems, water line install and repair, driveways, rock hauling, and leveling. B&B Excavating, call 620-724-2735. Back online for the second half of action. Third quarter underway as we transition right back on. Anderson County starting off with the ball on the floor for the Trojans. It'll be your starters, except a bit of a switch here as Maddie Kester obviously no longer on the floor. Briley Black taking up that position for Girard. Another takeaway here as Oran pushes the pace down the floor. Oran from the corner, off the rim into the hands of Sisney, who works her way underneath and in for the two.
And I mean, so far, an incredible just offensive possession there from the Trojans, but I mean, it's happening as I'm saying, is just that the steals tonight have also been a big part. This transition offense that we talked about from getting easy defensive stops is what is helping this Trojan team go forward with the scoring.
Yeah, strong passes are something that is required to succeed against this Lady Trojan squad. They are just all over the place. They're hungry to grab that ball and just take it away and take it right to your rim. I mean, it's been just a very dominant performance on the Anderson County half of the floor. Or, well, I guess the Girard half of the floor. They've just been dominant. This one well short. Sisney collects the rebound. Oran flips it over to Sisney. And now Oran looking to drive. Off the glass, and it just trickles out, but she will hustle back and grab the ball for a jump ball against Hope Hill. Another example of that, Court General just getting a little frustrated with the miss and saying, I'm going to get after it. Mooneyham for the triple, just off the inside of the rim, and we've got a foul. This is going against Hope Hill, and that will be her fourth.
So definitely a possibility that we see some of these starters for the Bulldogs exit the game pretty early on. Just we're only a minute and a half really into this third quarter, and so it'll be interesting to see how much more time she really has in this game before Coach Ferguson decides.
I would say you've got to probably check her in at the start of the fourth and just see if she can ride that out and play it safe, but I don't know. It may not be a competition at that point with the way that Anderson County has been putting up points, which is pretty well zero. Mooneyham from deep. Kick it back on a positive note. Trojans back in the scoring column. As taking it down into the paint was Riley Hill. Swinging it out and around to Hughes, who drives the paint and draws the foul against Briley Black, which will be what I believe to be her first. That's what I've gotten that it is. Hughes saw one free throw in the second quarter, which was all the points scored by Anderson County, and 5:44 to go here in the third, and they've already matched that performance.
And I mean, since the first quarter, the Bulldogs have not been able to get an actual bucket to fall. It's only been scoring from the line, and not much scoring with that.
Keller just checking on as she gets physical in the paint. And just look at all those Trojans jumping for joy, trying to get their hands on the ball. One after another. They're just so confident. They're so confident on that side of the floor.
And I mean, it's just, this is the thing that you would like to see just from the Trojans of, if you have everyone going for the ball, eventually one of them will get it, and that has worked so far in this game with, 10 steals, with the majority of them coming from that transition defense.
Riley Black recovers the offense as the pass was off of the back of, I believe, Augie Mooneyham on the transition down the floor. Keller gets poked in the eye. Sisney for the three. Can't get it to go, and Kellerman down the floor off the rebound. Out of bounds. I believe Black was the one to poke it out of the hands of Kellerman. 38-10, a 28-point lead. And that point that you made earlier, Caleb, stands true. Still no buckets on the floor for the Bulldogs as Kellerman drives into the paint, and this one's tapped out of bounds by Mooneyham. That looked like an open opportunity, but Hughes unable to hang on to it. Another inbound coming from the Bulldogs as Trezona checks in for Black. Inbound blocked shot as Keyser tried from the elbow. Orand kicks it around. Keller over to Mooneyham. Mooneyham from the wing. It's a high bounce off the rim and out of bounds. Another good look from Mooneyham as she has been that wing shooter I mean, in the last 3 games, we've only seen her shoot from the point once, and that was today.
And I mean, that's her spot that we've kind of identified her with, of just that kind of half. I mean, she's not in the corner, but she's not at the top of the key, and so just kind of that mid-range three-point shot of just where she's identified herself with shooting.
Orand drives down the right side, gets fouled, and now she will be headed to the line. That'll be the second team foul for the Bulldogs, going against, I believe it will be Lindsay Carey, her first. So good thing from the Bulldogs is that they are managing to spread this foul count out among some other players, as it was very controlled within about 2 or 3 there for a minute.
And as this game has gone on, the Bulldogs have honestly limited their amount of fouling. With, it seems like every quarter the fouls get less and less for this away team.
Still applying the pressure as Addie Summer tries to work down the floor and hits the deck. Feeling the pressure from Macy Munkin, who will check in here. And with that being said, I do wonder if Coach Urlacher maybe saved her for a quarter in that JV game, knowing that he might need her in the 4th.
And I mean, going off of last game, I definitely believe that Coach Urlacher knows that he has his limited players tonight with those 2 seniors out on IR for limited time, and so just you got to save some of those players in those JV games. And as we were setting up, the JV was able to get a pretty dominant win against these Bulldogs really. And so it's just, the big thing is that if he did end up saving some of these JV players, it seems like you have even more players on JV that could also step up at any time.
Mention here as Gus the Gorilla is actually in the house over there on the student section. So showing out for this Girard team, local university.
And I believe there should be a scholarship given out halftime of the boys game. So.
Oh. Well, there you go. Jump ball called on the Anderson County side as Keller catches a couple elbows to the back. I noticed that. And jump ball called as this Anderson County crowd is pretty frustrated. Wow.
And I mean, it looked like, from maybe fans' point, it looked like Kennedy might have kind of whacked her in the face, but I do believe she didn't necessarily touch her. It was just kind of an optical thing of what it looked like.
Yeah, I don't think there was actually contact, because I think she kind of pulled back there. But we do see another foul called. Oh, and they're going to call that against Keller.
And they're saying that's Kennedy's second foul now.
So Keller gets charged for her second. As the pressure continues from Girard on the full court. Down the floor, Hughes loses it. Trezona tries to work across midcourt, and now we've got another whistle as Hughes gets charged for another foul.
That will be the Bulldogs' 4th, meaning the next foul will send the Trojans to the line.
Well, I thought they called it against Hughes, but I think they actually called it against Carey. I'm trying to read that properly. I don't know for sure.
I mean, just a multitude of Bulldogs in foul trouble in this game.
Well, if it was Carey, they're saying that's her 3rd. I've got her down for 2. If it was Hughes, it was her 3rd. So, excuse me. And this one tipped out of bounds off the hands of Avery Brooks. 40-10 score. Things getting a little bit chippy here on the floor with a lot of fouls coming in here in the third. Carey gets the call on the inbound. And now Kent will drive and draw a foul. This goes against Macy Munkin.
So that'll be her first and only the team's third, and so not as many fouls as the Bulldogs tonight, but definitely a good amount.
They get it in to Rockers, and foul called on the shot, which will be shooting 2 for Mora Rockers. 1 point so far, and still, like we said, Caleb, I'm going to keep reiterating this because it is just an accolade for this Girard defense. No buckets on the floor from Anderson County in the second or third quarter.
And I mean, at this rate, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see any buckets from this Anderson County team for the rest of the game. I mean, just...
Well, with Hope Hill being in foul trouble and her carrying most of the offensive weight, she's, you know, not obviously present on the floor, but we do have a new face for Girard. That's Reagan Ablotnik. Another foul called against Girard. That goes against Carson Oran, her third.
I believe they called that a jump ball.
I don't think so. They just...
Oh, was that?
Yeah.
I mean, I changed it, but...
Herlocker was voicing his frustration with the call and then looked up and saw Rand had 3. This one's tipped into the hands. Shot from Kellerman. Won't go for 3. Rebound is into the hands of Ablotnik. Jump ball, and that will stay with Girard, I believe.
Looks like we will have a substitution. Carson Oran will take a seat and Marley Sisney will check back in.
Sisney checking in, takes it down the floor, and now here's Brooks trying to drive, her shot blocked. And now back the other way for Anderson County. With it now is Keyser. Kicked out to Rockers. Shot goes up and in from Addie Summer.
And there it is.
Yeah, first bucket in about 14 minutes of play for Anderson County.
Looks like another jump ball was called.
This will go to Anderson County. Riley Hill comes in for Mora Rockers. Lindsey Hughes into the paint, off the rim, no good. Rebound Ablotnik. Sisney down the floor inside of the final 60. Here in the third quarter, over to Munkin and now back up top. Brooks finds herself open for the 3. Off the inside of the rim, no good as Kellerman gets the rebound. Her pass successful to Hill as she works down the floor, but no, it's taken away. Keller loses it in the process though, and that pass errant from Hughes. And the frustration surmounting for Anderson County as they just cannot get any space. They are being suffocated on offense.
Looks like about 15 seconds left in this third, and so the shot clock will be turned off.
Sisney for 3, no good. Ablotnik gets the rebound, and they'll call her for a travel. So another errant pass tipped off by Riley Hill out of bounds, gives Girard the ball back on their side of the floor. 3.4 seconds remaining here in the third. It's going to be an inbound and a shot. Sisney takes a dribble, back to Keller for three. Off the glass and the rim, but no good. As ending the third, 40-14. It'll be 11 points for Girard and 5 for Anderson County. We head into the fourth with a large separation. Be right back.
Since 1918, GN Bank has been the heart of our community. Big enough to meet all your banking needs, but small enough to offer that personal touch you deserve. From agricultural loans to home mortgages, GN Bank has the expertise, products, and service to help you thrive. With a pledge to treat others ethically, be adaptable, focus on customers, and invest in the communities they serve, GN Bank is committed to your success. The best place to bank and borrow, GN Bank, where community banking truly comes first. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
I was raised in a small town, and there was a lot of people who took time to invest in me. And so when we decided to open up our offices, we want to make sure that we're pouring back into the community that's giving to us. We care. We want to be involved. We want to have a passion for what you have a passion for. We want to be able to give back. And that's the foundation. That's why we're more than just insurance.
As we enter the fourth, couple fresh pairs of feet head onto the floor for Girard. Trezona, who I don't believe saw any time in the third, will come back in the fourth, as well as a Blotnick, Munkin, Brooks, and Mooneyham. Mooneyham also very limited in the third quarter. I think she only played maybe 2 or 3 minutes. For the Bulldogs, going down the list, Hope Hill back in the game, joined by Addie Summer, Brooklyn Kellerman, Addie Keyser, and Riley Hill. It looks like pretty much starters for Anderson County as they drain a 3 to open up this fourth quarter. Gonna take a little more than that though.
And I mean, if you want to talk about the future of this team, not a single starter, or at least a normal starter, on the floor for the Trojans. And so just a lot of those bench players that are now getting, it looks like, the start to a fourth quarter and possibly the entire fourth quarter to themselves.
Maybe should have been a foul called there as Munkin. I think I actually heard that slap from up here. I just got to kind of say how it is. I was a little bit like, ooh. Surprised there wasn't a whistle there, but I got away with one. Did you hear it?
I won't make any comment.
They call a foul against Avery Brooks, so eventually came back around to the Trojans, just on a different number. Brooks with her second foul of the game. And now Brooks trying to drive, poked out of bounds by the Bulldogs. Munkin on the inbound here. As she tries to get it into a Blotnick. And now another foul called as a Blotnick wraps around Summer. Blotnick's first. Team foul number 2 with 6:38 remaining, so not too terrible of a pace, but still on pace for bonus here for Anderson County. A loose ball out of bounds as Kellerman unable to receive the pass.
And I was just looking down at my scoring chart, and it looks like in this game, Coach Herlocker has used about 10 different girls in this game, like beside their starting lineup, along with a lot of just this bench coming in with, going from Augie Mooneyham to Callie Trezona, Briley Black, Macy Munkin, and many more. Just a lot of those kind of key bench players that you don't see too often that are now getting big minutes in this fourth quarter and really throughout this entire game.
Riley Hill charged with her first foul. In a 17-44 game. And you talked about the future of this team. Girard, this secondary, I would say, almost kind of keeping up with the starters scoring-wise against the starting team for Anderson County. And now Riley Black with a foul called against her. And that one, been a couple of them here in this fourth. Have been a little bit in my opinion.
I agree with you. Just kind of seems like this game pretty close to over, and so you might just let the players ride it out.
Especially on some of those lighter contacts. You know, players hit the deck, different story. Got to keep it safe for these ladies out here on the floor. But Mooneyham now working as lane violation called against Trojans.
Bulldogs number 3, Laura Rockers.
Now Mooneyham kind of taking up that leader role on the defense for Girard. Avery Brooks collides with another player and gets called for her third. Fourth foul for Girard here in the fourth, and now 5:16 to go. You can almost assume there's going to be free throws here for Anderson County at some point. Work it out to Kellerman after the missed three. Pass inside is batted away by Brooks. Mooneyham trying to move down the floor. Gives it out to Black. So keep it on the perimeter. Mooneyham's gonna dribble a little bit to try and soak up some of this clock, but now Trojans sees an open opportunity. Can't get it on the first try, and now we've got a foul.
I believe that foul might go against number 5, Hope Hill, and that should be it for her tonight.
That is it, her fifth at 4:40 in the game. Inbound gets to a Blotnick. Mooneyham from the wing, strong on that try. Blotnick with the rebound. Resets the shot clock. As Black takes a three-point shot. That won't go. Blotnick gathers it again. Reagan Blotnick with back-to-back collections underneath the basket. The sophomore showing off her skills here in the fourth quarter of a varsity matchup. Mooneyham over to a Blotnick, finds a driving lane, reverse layup, and she's fouled. So now a Blotnick headed to the line.
And that'll be number 12, Lindsay Carey's fourth foul, and so just another player for this Anderson County team that is possibly in that foul trouble. That next one will end this game for her.
Yeah, and you have Keyser and Summer as well at 3 apiece. Hughes at 2. A couple other players that could be mentioned to keep an eye on. Callie Trezona commits a foul. First personal 5 fouls will mean bonus for the Bulldogs. So they are shooting free throws.
At the line for 2 for the Bulldogs, number 12, Lindsay Carey.
First one from Carey is good. Reaches the 20-point mark for Anderson County, and I think you can pretty well say this will be their scoring low on the season, more than likely.
And I mean, I think the Trojan girls didn't play maybe their best game of the season, but they definitely played very well and got it done in a dominant fashion.
Brooks gets fouled, so now she will head to the line.
Fouls on Anderson County, number 14, Brooklyn Cullivan, first personal foul. Team foul number
If you're just tuning in, we're here with 3:33 remaining in the fourth quarter. Stay tuned, as after this we will have the post-game coaches interview with head coach Brad Erlocker of the girls team, and then followed by the boys game and a post-game interview with Coach Westcott. So plenty of content coming to you from Girard Sports Live and action throughout the night as we end this long week for the Trojans. Kent nearly loses the ball. Shot from deep and a foul called. It's not that I don't think some of these are fouls. I just feel like at some stage in the game feels a bit unnecessary.
I have no comment. I'll just leave it up to that.
Here's Brooks taking it across the floor. Black back to Brooks, and now swung over to Munkin. Find a Blotnick on the near side wing. Back to Munkin, inside to Trojana. Trojana trying to work on the post.
Another foul, and that will send Trojana to the line.
Not only that, but that will be the final for Lindsay Carey. So she will foul out in this contest, and Addie Summer will come in her place with 3 fouls herself. So keeping that in mind, as Trojana makes the first. Inside of 3 minutes to go. 49-21. Working it to Kent at the base. She gets it to, bumps that score up to 23. At this point, just trying to make it look a little better than it is right now for Anderson County. Driving inside, Munkin off the glass, won't go. And this one barely stays in bounds. Good save from Addie Keyser. Kent lays in another 2. Gets up to 25. Now a 24-point deficit for Anderson County. Working it inside to Trojana again. This ball tipped off the hands of Kellerman and into the grasp of a Blotnick. Mid-range 2 from Brooks won't go. Trojana gets the rebound again. Black now pulls up from deep 2. Blotnick gathers the rebound and keeps it alive. Trojana now, another try, another one. Count it for 6. And now a Blotnick headed to the line. And part of you, I feel like, if you're fans of both teams, is like, Well, if you're Girard, probably should have made at least one of those, but if you're a fan of Anderson County, you probably should have rebounded another one of those.
Just kind of one of those lose-lose situations of Trojans made it to the line, but you had maybe too many opportunities there before you ended up shooting free throws.
But regardless, a good look for Blotnick, as she's been really good at the base. We've seen a couple of other ladies, as it looks like after that foul, they're actually just gonna advance the game. I don't quite know what happened there.
From what I saw, it looked like the ref had called a jump ball.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's where, I mean, the refs seem to be calling jump balls pretty quick here tonight. Just anytime that two players get their hands on the ball, it seems like a jump ball will get called.
Yeah, I got a little mixed up there, as now, speaking of mixed up, Addie Summer called for a foul here, and I say that, but they're going to give that to Mara Rockers. So still with 1:09 to go. As Brooks made her first, and off the back iron on her second. Over to Kent, kicks it out. Hill, excuse me, misses on her two-point attempt. Now trying to drive is Rockers, and she gives it up. Munkin gets fouled. And that will be the fourth against Addie Summer. But with limited time remaining in this game, more than likely won't see that fifth come her way, pending a rebound foul again, as we've seen a couple of times tonight. So Munkin makes her second, up to 51, which is just above the average of 50 even on the season for Girard. Shot from Hill is drained for three. And now Brooks will take it across midcourt. No more shot clock, as they will work it around the perimeter. Black tries to get inside. Jump ball called. And it will stay with Girard. I was about to say, Bulldogs get two in a row. As Brooks fires from two and gets it.
I think they called that a three.
Well, I am almost certain her foot was on the line. But regardless, we'll count it as a three here on the broadcast. 54-30 is the final score of this contest. 14 points in the fourth quarter, as it was a pretty even scoring night. Had 16 in the first, 13 in the second, followed by 11 in the third, and then 14 in the fourth. A very even scoring game for Girard, being able to put up the number they did. Anderson County able to work a couple points back there in the fourth quarter. They over doubled their score from the third to the fourth quarter, so a big move from them as they were starting to adapt, but just way too late, as we will take this pretty much straight into the post-game show, presented to you by Eastside Cafe. Experience the best breakfast in town. lost my spot. 6 days a week at 120 South Ozark Street in Girard. Eastside Cafe, a proud supporter of Trojan Athletics. And Caleb, do you have a nominee for player of the game tonight?
I believe tonight my player of the game will go to Kennedy Keller. When she was in, she was hustling to get the ball. She had numerous just tip balls that then led to turnovers and was the leading scorer tonight with 13. And so I would give it to her. A couple just shout outs is that other junior we've talked about, Marley Sisney, that has done a great job of stepping up. And then finally that third player that didn't have maybe as much scoring but definitely made an impact on this game was Callie Trojans, who just had so many rebounds and just played a lot more crucial minutes than she was used to, and she was really able to step up and thrive in those minutes. So I'd say one of those three with an emphasis on Kennedy.
I mean, you could go on and on. I think almost every player that hit the floor tonight for Girard you can make a case to give them player of the game tonight. They all played phenomenal. Plotnick with a series of rebounds there in the fourth, which I think at this point it just kind of comes down to who made the plays in the most crucial moments. And of course, I believe that would be Kennedy Keller. She played well last night as well. She was kind of our honorable mention last night as the second highest scorer. And then tonight takes that role up on herself. And of course, showing out to represent the leaders, the junior leaders on this squad. Her and Sisney just putting together a dynamic duo that I'm sure this crowd is going to be excited to see. Of course, Oran, you kind of separate Oran from that group as she's a leader in her own capacity, but she's going to be back next year as well. And so just those three working together in that starting lineup, I'm excited to see where Girard Trojan basketball is to go. But right now, I'm just as excited to see the success that they're bringing here after break. And we will go ahead and get Coach Urlacher on the post-game show here as he's shown up. Here with Coach Urlacher of the Girard Lady Trojans. Coach, once again, congratulations on the win tonight. It's your third straight as you head into another week playing against Columbus and then Riverton as well here at home with a little bit of a streak. How do you feel rolling into this next week and with rolling through this tough week, gathering a win on each day?
Yeah, it's kind of bittersweet, honestly. Not seeing my seniors in their senior year be able to get out there and play, I hate that for them. Maddie did try to go tonight, and it's still just so sore for her that, I don't think anything serious. She's had her x-rays and everything like that, so it's just a matter of getting to a point where there's not all that pain in there, and for her to be able to go. And I appreciate, they want to be out there. It's just, it is what it is. The sweet part of it is you get kind of a preview. It's kind of a trailer of what we'll be doing next year. And, my roots are completely in, pressing people as we come off the bus and getting after people and getting people's faces. And we were able to do that tonight, and we were even a step better tonight than I think we were last night. And we got some kids, Kennedy Keller, and watching her and Carson Oran together is so much fun, and they just play off of each other so well. And so them young kids are pretty dang quick too, and so I think that'll be a fun style to watch. And what a valuable amount of time we were able to get for those young people in that fourth quarter. And I actually wanted to get my older kids back in there, but then I didn't want to get another starter hurt, the way our season's been going. And so I hung with those kids, and more than anything was wanting, you never know, and God forbid, if something would extend out and we need them for more time and whatnot, or in a key situation, for them to get those extended minutes tonight is so invaluable to where they're not freaking out when you have to put them in another game. So all in all, especially with the 3-game week, it's a really good night to have.
Yeah, I talked about in the post-game show a very even scoring game throughout all 4 quarters, entering the double digits in scoring regardless of who was on the floor. Just kind of showcasing what we hit on last night, which was the fact that all those ladies on the bench are very capable of being successful on this squad. That chemistry just seems immaculate. Is this group just like best friends together? Because it just seems like they all work together no matter what the combination is.
We try to do that. We try to get them, and we do all kinds of, we have a Christmas deal where we exchange white elephant gifts. That's a pretty entertaining thing to watch have happen. And went to the Pitt State to their game last weekend together and ate mall deli and do that type of stuff. And so we encourage that, and we've always just had a great tradition here at Girard of just really good, the parents work with them when they're young, and they come to me, as a pretty good group, and then we just keep grinding, and it is a longer practice, but fundamentals are in each one of those practices, and over 4 years that you store that up at a bank, and when it's their turn to play, by that time they're ready to go. And so just very thankful. Again, I've got a great group of parents, great group of kids, and just a fun group to be around.
Yeah, once again, kind of rolling into that next week. You've got Riverton again at home this time. I know I asked you this after the game in Riverton, but is there something that you're looking toward in that week? I know you've got Columbus up next. Obviously, probably game planning for them first, but is there something that you're looking forward to next week to really change and hopefully pick up that W later on this week?
Yeah, I mean, we came out really flat in that game, I think, and we had a lot going on, and a lot of things going on at our school then, and time heals all wounds, and so. I just want us to come out, and that's what I talk about each and every time. Come out and play your heart out, and control what you can control, and then from there, just whatever happens, and you got to accept that. You trust the process. You work as hard as you can in practice. You do everything you can to prepare, and then whatever happens. I was talking to somebody. That'll be the 9th team. I think this is our maybe 16th game. And that'll be when we play Riverton, the 9th team that's ranked when we play them. And so, I mean, I've never, maybe played 4 or 5 teams that were ranked in the course of a season leading up to that. So win, lose, or draw coming out of this, until that very last loss, it's an opportunity for us to get better. It's an opportunity to find more about ourselves and try to be just the toughest out we can be when Sub-State rolls around.
Well, Coach, once again, thank you for joining us here on the post-game show. Congratulations on the victory, and go celebrate.
Yeah.
As you guys are going to have a fun week next week. I can already see it.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you got it. Going to televise the big dance coming up. My daughter Josie's dancing tonight at halftime. They do a good job with that, and that's fun to watch. So,
well, we'll make sure to get it here on the podcast. Yeah.
All right, we appreciate you.
Have a good one, Coach. Thanks again on the post-game show. This post-game coaches interview is brought to you by Community National Bank and Trust, serving the area for 30 years. Stop in soon to pick up your very own Girard Trojan Instant Issue Mascot Debit Card. Community National Bank and Trust is a proud supporter of Girard Schools. Learn more online at mybankcnb.com. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back for the boys' pregame show.
Community National Bank and Trust has been serving the area for more than 30 years with a strong commitment to the highest quality leadership and banking services. Missing that human touch with your bank? Come talk to a real person at Community National Bank and Trust. We're your local bank that's small enough to know you, yet big enough to offer the best products. Community National Bank and Trust. Federally insured, locally awesome. Member FDIC.
Whether you're trying to make the most of the next harvest, navigating a changing business landscape, or planning for the next chapter in your life, The professionals at Prime Accounting Solutions are here to help. With 10 locations, Prime Accounting offers convenient, friendly accounting and tax services at a fair price. Payroll, bookkeeping, business planning, personal tax filing, and more. And now Prime is the place to go for insurance. Trojan fans can find us at 408B North Grand in Pittsburgh or call 620-232-7305. To find a location near you, go to primeaccounting.net.
You've enjoyed life. Over the years, your community has become your passion, something you hope future generations get to experience, just as you have. That's why the Girard Area Community Foundation has worked hard to help fulfill charitable goals and inspire generosity, meeting the needs of the communities they serve. Creating a legacy fund with GACF ensures what you leave behind is an effective and lasting improvement in the community you love so dearly. Make plans to visit GirardAreaFoundation.com, preserving traditions for those who follow.
Producers Cooperative Association is the area leader in providing quality agricultural products, services, and markets. PCA has what you need to maximize your operation with a full-service agronomy department, grain origination, handling and storage, bulk fuels and lubricants, propane, a jam-packed farm store, and livestock feeds in bulk or bagged. PCA is proud to call Girard home and to support Trojan athletics. Stop by or see more online at pcacoop.com.
Back on for the pregame show of the boys game, and we will go ahead and just jump right into it here on the pregame show presented by Community National Bank and Trust. Serving the area for over 30 years, stop in soon to pick up your very own Girard Trojan Instant Issue Mascot Debit Card. Community National Bank and Trust is a proud supporter of Girard Schools, equal housing lender, member FDIC. Learn more online at mybankcnb.com. And we'll go ahead and take it into the starters, as those are brought to you by Jagged Edge. The Trojans will start this game in style, but nowhere near the level of style you'll find at the Jagged Edge. Stylist Carlos Sands will have you looking your best for your next big game. Make an appointment soon by calling 620-724-7500. We'll start it off with the Anderson County Bulldogs. Starting off with the senior number 0, Brylan Summer. The senior number 3, Braden Wheat. Senior number 4, Aiden Steele. The junior number 25, Bo Howie. And the junior number 42, Dylan Hoffman. Only 2 other seniors on this Anderson County squad, being Christian Barnett, number 14, and number 11, Jonathan Stoltfoots. Being not on that starting lineup. And then for the Girard Trojans, Caleb, if you want to take those over for me.
Looking at the Girard side of things, a pretty normal starting lineup. Another change from last game, and that will start with number 1, a 5'11 junior, Perrin Stevens. Number 2, a 5'8 freshman, Briggs Buckingham. Number 4, a 6'2 sophomore, Jackson Smith. Number 12, a 6'2 junior, Ben Colin. And rounding it out is number 35, a 5'11 junior, Blake Brokaw.
So like you said, a pretty regular starting lineup. Caleb, I'm under the impression that you had a little bit of insight on the changes yesterday as to why Colin wasn't in the lineup or whatnot. Can you give those to us?
And that's what we had kind of talked about yesterday, that even if Ben wasn't in the lineup, he definitely had some of those crucial minutes. And so just one of the things about that is that Ben was dealing with an illness earlier this week, kind of on Tuesday and Wednesday, that he kind of played through on that Tuesday game. Wednesday, he really started to feel it. Thursday was whenever that our last game was. Yesterday, Ben had to sit out from the starting rotation just for yesterday because he had missed that practice on Wednesday. From that, he should be just good as new now and joining that starting lineup as he was before.
Yeah, and like you said, he got some pretty crucial minutes. We saw him really get some reps early. I mean, he was that designated 6 coming in extremely early into the game. I think Burke checked out for him maybe a minute or a minute and a half into that first quarter. And then from then on out, Ben Cullen was tearing it up in the paint. I mean, he was a force to be reckoned with in such a tight game like the one against Labette County. That was such a hard-fought game, and it was so unfortunate to see the boys come away with the loss. But that's one of those losses that that's a little bit easier to shake off. I know it seems like it might be more painful, but I feel like for these guys, they're pretty level-headed. They're going to be able to say, hey, we did work hard. We put ourselves in position to potentially win this game. So that's a positive in itself. Now let's roll into Anderson County. Let's get another win, and let's get after it next week as well.
And just one last final thing for this pregame show. I was looking up kind of on these past meetings between Girard and Anderson County, and over the last couple of years since the 2018-2019 season, the Girard boys have gone 4-2 against this Bulldog team, and so definitely not much competition as of recent, but enough that there's always that chance that Anderson County can come back and make any game competitive.
Yeah, like you said, it's been a pretty dominant history between these two teams, but looking at Anderson County this year, they're pretty competitive. A 10-8 overall record. They're going to be a pretty solid overall rounded team. This is a very similar season that the Girard Trojans are having as of right now, just having a bit of a rough stretch after break. We see a lot of teams actually right now in the CNC. As I was looking across it the other day, notice that a lot of teams that started off slow are accelerating after break, and a lot of teams that started off hot are slowing down after break. So it's been kind of this interesting mix on the boys' side, whereas the girls' side, it's what we typically see where start off hot, end hot, start off slow, end slow. So a very interesting dynamic there. But we'll see if the boys can kind of pick up some momentum. I know they grabbed the loss against Labette County last night, but they had the win against Galena. They've yet to really get on a win spell. And I think right here, you grab this one against Anderson County, you roll into Columbus next week, and then you go against Riverton. You've got a chance to start building together a streak.
And I think the biggest thing for this team going forward is just that, of that if you can get a streak going of win after win after win, that would be amazing. And with a win last night, that streak would have been moved to 3 with a win tonight. And so just getting back on the winning side of things after such a crucial loss yesterday.
Well, here we go. The opening tip in favor of Labette County. We'll get that scoreboard reset for you. Sorry, guys. As Labette County moves the ball around and makes the three-pointer early. That was Aiden Steele opening up this game with a 3. Less than 30 seconds into the game, and another takeaway for Anderson County. Bonus possession as Wheat draws up the offense from the top. Here's Hoffman working it with Smith, or Steele, sorry, I keep reading the wrong last name. Smith down the other side of the floor. Over to Buckingham. Buckingham looking to drive underneath, draws a foul just before he reaches the block. This one goes against Braden Wheat. First foul of the game. Quite the honor. Pass over to Perrin Stevens, and now Brocobb from the point. Over to Smith. Working it to Cullen in the corner. Now back around Brocobb. Buckingham, Cullen, inside Smith. He gets it poked away and into the hands of Anderson County. Taking it down the floor is Braden Wheat. Wheat driving to the paint, gets fouled, and that one will go against Ben Cullen.
And that'll be Ben's first foul, and something that Ben's really good about is just staying out of foul trouble. And I mean, I just say this to mess with Ben, but he's as sweet as peach pie. I mean, he's just not really a tough guy. And I mean, I hate to make fun of him, but I think something that he's really good at is keeping out of foul trouble and not playing too aggressive on the defensive side of things, but still playing very aggressive on the offensive side of things and getting inside and getting those tough buckets.
Just my analysis, I wouldn't say he's not tough, but I would say this guy, you know, maybe wouldn't hurt a fly, you know, if it's more so that vibe, because he's tough. He gets physical underneath there, but he's definitely a guy that I agree with you, keeps himself out of foul trouble, keeps it a clean game, and you like to see that out of one of your top players. With that made free throw, it actually puts them at 3. I was wrong. They were at that first bucket was a 2 at the beginning of the game from the Bulldogs. So working it out, Brokob for the tie, and he gets it.
And just more of that insider information. I know that Blake has definitely been working on his three-point shooting so that he can become one of these reliable three-point shooters, and I know he's been in this gym exactly working on that 3 and keeping track of how many made and missed shots he has to kind of see how much he can improve on.
Off the back iron for the shot from Wheat. Jump ball between Cullen and Hoffman results in Girard taking over. So Stevens will inbound it here inside of 6 minutes to go in the first. Brokob. Buckingham, and now back up to the point. Stevens trying to work it inside, and he's pickpocketed by Brylan Summer. Steele with it, works it over to Summer. Gets a screen and tries to drive. Elbow, takes the shot. Hard off the rim into the hands of Brokob. Smith the other direction for the Trojans as they swing it around the perimeter. Buckingham, long 3 look, and can't get it. Steele flips it to Wheat. Wheat to Summer, and now Summer's pass taken away from Stevens as he gets his revenge from a possession or 2 ago. Brokob trying to work the underneath, off the rim, into the hands of Hoffman. Bulldogs now back to their side of the floor as Wheat drives, can't get it to fall, and it will be last touched by Brokob as it exits the courts.
And it does look like that triple substitution of bench players will come in, with that being Adrian Newton. It's like Briar Schultz and Harrison Burke, and Brokob, Smith, and Buckingham will all take a seat.
Yeah, there to start us out of break. It was Buckingham, Newton, and Schultz, and Buckingham has swapped spots with Burke. That pass off the mark, out of bounds. And coach trying to see who the head coach of this men's team is. They don't have it listed here. But this one's tipped out into the hands of Newton. Burke fires from 3, off the rim, can't go. Tries to swipe on the rebound, but it's Anderson County who comes up with it. Wheat trying to find an elevator screen, but a well-defended one at that. Stevens and Newton working together. Back out to Wheat, this time on the corner. Takes it up to the wing for 3, short. Saved by Summer, who keeps it with Steele, and now Wheat again. with a new shot clock, 25. This will more than likely take us inside of 3 minutes on this possession. Summer gets it to Hoffman. His shot's fouled, and right at the 3-minute mark is where we will stop.
With that foul, that'll be Ben's second foul quickly in this first quarter, and so it'll be interesting to see how much longer he'll stay in this, or if Coach Westcott will decide to take him out. It looks like that's exactly what he'll do with Blake Brokob coming in. Ben will take a seat, and so depending on how the second and third quarter goes, Ben may be on a minutes restriction due to his early fouls.
Yeah, and I think for Brokob, for Cullen, you don't lose much there with having Newton on the floor. You've still got that height. Brokob certainly has the height as well, maybe an inch or so shorter than Cullen. So you're not even losing that much with that direct substitution. Not a bad play by Westcott to get one of your star players out of trouble. Burke's shot, I believe that was tipped and ends up short. So now Wheat takes it down the floor with a 2-point lead for Anderson County. Inside of 2:30. Steele tries to kick it low. Hoffman receives, but it's stripped away. Brokob with it.
That was good defense from Adrian Newton, making sure to keep his hands straight up and not fall into the foul bait from Hoffman.
Stevens takes a delayed shot, short two. That one rattles off the rim. And now Wheat, behind the back pass, into the hands of Brokob again. That's back-to-back steals for 35. Inside pass to Newton, back out Schultz. Schultz looking for a recipient, and now he'll deliver. They'll reset here, 20 seconds. Newton from three, can't go, it's tipped up by Schultz. Off the glass, off it again, and no jump ball called there as Anderson County collects it. Almost inside of 90 seconds to go here in the first. Steele hands it off to Wheat. Hoffman now at the corner, or at the elbow, I should say. Oh, probably a travel call there, but Stevens gets the takeaway, and that is no way a very uncharacteristic miss, but at the end, Brokob gets the point regardless. Woo! Wheat tries to go up, Hoffman with a good answer. 7-5 score, inside of a minute to go. Newton works it to Stevens. Stevens working the post, and he drops in another two. That is double the amount of points in probably 40 seconds that we saw all quarter prior to that.
And I think Perrin just wanted to get his bucket back right there. I mean, he knows that he had missed an opportunity on that layup, and he did a great job of getting back and getting his score.
Wheat finds an open backdoor cut and gets another two on the board for the Bulldogs. Stevens, 20 seconds, over to Burke. Burke finds Newton, and now back to Stevens on the close side. Burke, he was outside the perimeter, wanted that three shot. 8 seconds left. Newton takes a floater, that's hard off the glass. Stevens puts it back up and in. A very impressive maneuver by Perrin Stevens, and that chuck from Wheat was blocked. So that will take us to the second quarter. 9-9 score once again. We've got a close one on our hands between the red and maroon.
And these are two teams that we've seen before that can be competitive, and especially this Girard team, you can never really count them out until it's over. And so just a very similar game really from that we saw last night, of just this Girard team is slowly following and keeping up with this opponent and this opposing squad of players.
Yeah, I mean, once again, it's almost a direct duplicate of what we saw last night, being that 2-point difference. You know, we haven't seen any massive leads. I think the largest one is, once again, 4 points there at the beginning of the game. And ever since then, the Trojans have worked their way back in it. They've gotten it within 2, and now they're just hanging on back and forth between them and Anderson County. But if I'm Coach Westcott, I think one of the things that's going through my mind that I'm preaching to my players is let's get ahead, and let's get ahead early. Let's get that lead, and let's maintain it. That's the key here, is getting the lead and trying to maintain it and not playing from behind the entire game like you did last night.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is just that this game compared to last night's game, I don't really see it to being too identical. The way that these teams play, I believe that the Trojans kind of had a slower start, and in the second and third quarters maybe, that's whenever we can see them start to really pull away, or the opposite, where they can kind of let this Bulldogs team get the better of them, and they'll start to slip and fade away into a deficit.
Opportunity here as Schultz gets it on the fast break. Brocobb now looking to drive. What's the call here? I think that's a block foul underneath. I think we've got a bit of a mix-up. One official calling charge, one calling block.
I believe it was a block foul. He did not seem to be set for very long, and kind of just ran into Blake.
That's what they'll say, and I think that's what that baseline judge was saying, is that basically he probably just stepped into, what he's saying is probably he stepped into it, didn't quite get his feet set by the time Brocobb collided. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it goes. First foul going against Aiden Steele. Shot from Brocobb for the triple. Can't go, and the rebound is into the hands of Steele. It's tipped, but well recovered by Summer. And now Wheat will slow things down as he directs the offense. Kick out to Howie. Howie now over to Summer. Now underneath to Hoffman, working against Brocobb and one. And I'll be interested to see if this goes against Schultz or Brocobb, because Schultz was coming in from behind, and I think they may have gotten some contact there.
Looks like they will call it on Brocobb.
So Brocobb gets his first. Hoffman makes the extra 9-12 score. Inside of 7 minutes to go. Smith over to Brocobb, and now they keep it on the perimeter. Cross court, Buckingham for 3. Can't get it, and the rebound is into the hands of Braden Wheat, who takes it back outside and now delivers to Summer. Summer drives inside and drops in the 2. And timeout called by Coach Westcott. 5-point lead for Anderson County, as we will take a moment to acknowledge our sponsor for this break in the action, which will be Salon 214. Now open at 107 North Ozark in Girard. Take a timeout to pamper yourself with Vanessa and her team at Salon 214. And take a timeout to check out Salon 214 on Facebook. Your sponsor of this break in the action. (14-9) as Anderson County starts to manufacture a bit of a lead here in the second. Girard going a bit quiet, as they've yet to get a bucket so far. Stevens to Buckingham, and now around to Cullen. And now Cullen's going to take that director role and start to set up the offense. Burke checks in for Brocob during the break. Buckingham, backdoor pass, and Burke lays it in. Something, Caleb, you've talked about a lot is the fundamentals of Harrison Burke.
And I mean, he will always seem to bounce it right off that corner of the backboard in that little square and just getting it right where he needs to put it. And another thing I like to note is just a great pass from Briggs Buckingham to Harrison on that find.
Yeah, great pass, and then a takeaway for Buckingham, and then an assist from Buckingham over to Jackson Smith.
So definitely a great timeout from Coach Westcott to get his players back into the right mindset.
Get them straightened away as they'll work it underneath. Summer lays it off the glass and in for two. I think they added the points to the wrong team. So they've got Girard at 15. Oh, okay. Well, they've updated it there. 15-16 score.
There you go. That's what I have.
Yeah. All right, well, timeout called on the floor. We'll take a second to step aside, and we'll be right back after this.
Here at Pittsburgh Interiors, we are proud to be family owned and operated, serving our community with quality style and service since 1999. Step into our showroom and explore furniture, flooring, window treatments, mattresses, and more. Whether you're designing a dream home, office, or simply just adding that finishing touch, our expert team is here to help. Discover why families and businesses have trusted us for over 25 years. Pittsburgh Interiors, where style meets comfort and family comes first.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand that a scary part of figuring out your future isn't only answering the question, what should I do, but where do I belong?
16-15. Anderson County with a lead here in the second. Just about halfway through as Wheat takes it across midcourt. Analyzing the defense. Pass to Steele, and his pass taken away. Here's Burke. He's fouled, and maybe a tweak in the leg there for Harrison Burke, as that looked awkward.
And those are definitely the worst ones that you see, just the kind of non-contact. But Harrison kind of waved off Coach Westcott and said that he would be all right, and he seems to be standing pretty well and doesn't seem too fazed by it.
That is the second foul for Aiden Steele in a very, very clean game so far. And it's ending up being a costly one. Anderson County went on a 5-0 run. And now Girard answering with a 7-2 run for themselves. So that shot to take the lead does not fall. Wheat down the other side of the floor, guarded by Stevens. Kick out, Wheat for three, can't go. And it's off of Newton, but stays in bounds. Smith recovers. Stevens' pass is off of the hands of Christian Barnett and into the hands of Ben Cullen for two. Lead for Girard. One of, if not the first one of the game for them. Burke gets another takeaway and lays this one out in front of Cullen, who lays it off the glass again. Back-to-back buckets for the tall man.
4 quick points for Ben Cullen, and that's what he's able to do, is just a lot of scoring in quick spurts, and he's able to get those fundamental buckets just like how we've talked about with Harrison Burke.
Kick to Barnett. His pass tipped but recovered. Anderson County feeling the pressure as that one is off of the feet of Bo Howie. A great play and great hustle from Girard.
I mean, both from Ben Cullen and Jackson Smith, with Jackson forcing that turnover and Ben causing it. And I will like to point out just the impact of Ben Cullen, of his quick scoring, the way that he can really get just turnovers easily, and the way that he kind of leads this offense and leads this team, being the only returning starter from last year's squad. And so just quick shout out to Ben, just because I don't think we give him enough credit for really being that main leader on this team that has had that varsity experience.
Kick over to Wheat as he works it back to Howie. Wheat now again on the perimeter. Barnett was looking to drive, and he goes up and in for 2. That's a physical bucket by Barnett, and having to climb the vertical ladder as he had to go over Newton and Cullen. But they answer quickly. Adrian Newton gets it to himself.
So far, the Trojans kind of got that 4-point lead, and now they're still just maintaining it with the Bulldogs, and here's a chance to grow it.
Another loose ball turnover as Perrin Stevens takes over. And timeout called on the floor by Anderson County. As frustrations are starting to set in, Summer was saying, or I don't know what he was saying, but voicing some frustration over there after the turnover. And now Braden Wheat, as he was walking into the huddle, saying, guys, calm down, it's all right.
And I mean, you can kind of understand the frustration just because Girard has done a great job of getting easy steals and then just quick turnover points. I mean, the Trojans have had maybe 8-10 points in this quarter alone. Most of their scoring just coming from those quick turnovers that they're able to get off of these Bulldogs and then just go down the other side of the court and have an easy layup just for 2. And I mean, that's the biggest thing, that Ben had 4 of those, Perrin had 2, and I believe Adrian had another 2 that was a little more contested but came off of a turnover. So just the turnovers are what has really led this Trojan team to grow this lead and take the lead here in the second quarter.
Well, and that frustration is just coming from the fact that Anderson County had the momentum. You reach that high in a game, and then all of a sudden everything changes. It just flips on its head. That is just, it kind of reaches a low at that point because you just crash emotionally. But keeping a level head is going to be important in this game for both teams, as Girard now riding on that high. Schultz had an opportunity there from 3. It doesn't take it, and Brocobb gets fouled underneath after he checks in for Ben Cullen. Tell you what, the post players of this Girard team have kind of been the staples so far as of late.
And I think you're right. You have some of those taller players, post players. Shout out to Adrian Newton coming off the bench, but definitely Blake Brocobb and Ben Cullen that have been able to, I mean, they both are able to physical their way inside, down low, get easy buckets, and if they're either getting fouled or they're getting just a tough bucket, and that seems like the constant theme between those 2 players.
Well, not to mention you've got Jackson Smith, and you could even probably put Harrison Burke in the conversation for post players. Briar Schultz as well. Just a bunch of tall guys that are just working together to grab rebounds and get up on the glass to put the ball through the rim. Here's the kick out, Summer for the triple. Long on that try, rebounded by Wheat. 39 seconds as Wheat works it over. Barnett's loose ball into the hands of Summer, who will look to drive and kick out. Wheat, deep ball, and off the back iron. This one's tipped around, and we've got a jump ball called.
Good hustle from both Adrian New and I believe it was Briar Schultz that were able to get in there and give the Trojans possession after a couple of missed opportunities to get the ball back the other way. As Anderson County got about 3 or 4 opportunities on that possession.
With that, they're going to sub in Buckingham for Newton. So maybe going in more of an attack mode here, trying to keep it all on offense. Not to say that Newton isn't an offensive threat, but maybe wanting a little bit more range there with Buckingham. And we've got an off-ball foul as that is going to be charged against Christian Barnett. Barnett collides with Buckingham. That extension of the arm, that's what he got called for. The collision, I think, would have actually probably drawn an off-ball foul against Buckingham.
I believe so, but it seems like he had kind of pushed off of Briggs.
But they retaliate well. A quick answer there with the 2 from Wheat. 26-20 is the score at half. And now Westcott's going to hold these guys up, as he is probably a little frustrated that they gave up those 2 points there at the end of the half. But we'll go ahead and see a break here on Girard Sports Live. We'll be right back after this.
Since 1918, GN Bank has been the heart of our community. Big enough to meet all your banking needs, but small enough to offer that personal touch you deserve. From agricultural loans to home mortgages, GN Bank has the expertise, products, and service to help you thrive. With a pledge to treat others ethically, be adaptable, focus on customers, and invest in the communities they serve, GN Bank is committed to your success. The best place to bank and borrow, GN Bank, where community banking truly comes first. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Back on Girard Sports Live, we're going to step aside for a moment as we broadcast the dance tonight, as it includes not only the Trojan high school dancers, but a lot of aspiring high school dancers. So we'll take a moment and be right back after this.
you, Tiny Trojans and the Girard High School dance team.
And we're back on for the halftime show presented by GN Bank on Girard Sports Live. GN Bank, they've been providing customers with the highest quality financial services in a friendly and personal way for over 100 years. Personal, business, or agricultural needs, turn to GN Bank. Learn more at gn-bank.com. And as we look back at the first half, Kennar Eye Care is here to make sure you can see what you're looking at. Kennar Eye Care, with locations in Pittsburgh and Girard, is here to help their valued customers. Learn more at KennarEyeCare.com. Caleb, let's go ahead and break down these stats so far in the first half. What do you got for us?
I mean, looking at the stats from what I have, I think definitely on the defensive side of things, the player you need to shut down is going to be number 42, Dylan Hoffman, and he has about half of the team's points. I believe he has 8 or so, and so the biggest thing is just limiting him. But for the other side, the offensive side of things for the boys, it looks like the leading scorer tonight is Perrin Stevens with 6. Blake Brokaw follows him with 5. Ben has 4. Harrison has 3. And then Briggs, Jackson, and Adrian all have a 2 on their own. And so just very even scoring so far for the boys. And, I mean, just a great spread of offense from everyone so far tonight.
Yeah, and those stats are brought to you by B&B Excavating. The numbers don't lie. Dirt is heavy, so trust the guys at B&B Excavating to move what needs moving. Specializing in septic system, water line install and repair, driveways, rock hauling, and leveling, B&B Excavating. Call 620-724-2735. I believe that was Megan Bennett that received the scholarship just there, so I want to give a quick shout out to her on the broadcast, one of the Girard Trojan cheerleaders, always showing out for the games as they've been traveling all over the place, attending the Burlington games and all other sorts of long distance travels. So big shout out to her for that scholarship reception. But as we talk about going into this second half, like you said, shutting down Hoffman, that's going to be a key factor for Girard, but they're in the lead. They found their role. They found their mojo offensively there towards the end of the second quarter, and I would like to see that carry further into this third quarter. As you keep playing like that, there's no doubt in my mind Girard should win this game.
And a big reason that I think Girard has kind of jumped out into this lead is just their defense into offense, and how I had talked about earlier how there's been maybe 8 points scored there in that second quarter where it's just, if you're getting steals on the defensive side of things, you go quickly to the offense, and that's that. I mean, you have quick, easy layups that you're getting incredible looks at, and that's where, well, I mean, this Anderson County team, that's where they kind of start to get frustrated, knowing that you're turning the ball over and you're giving Girard these easy points that now you're down by 6 at half, and before about halfway through that second quarter, you thought that you would be up going into the break.
Yeah, Anderson County is kind of a two-faced team, in my opinion. I talked about Hoffman, but I also want to talk about Wheat, as that kind of came to my attention as I'm watching them warm up here. Wheat's kind of that perimeter player. He's going to be a bit of a threat from the outside, and then Hoffman's going to be that threat on the inside. You lock those two down, I have no doubt in my mind that you're going to have a much easier time playing defense against this Anderson County team, as well as just getting those turnovers and forcing the ball down the floor in your favor. But right now, the fouls are not to the benefit of the Bulldogs. The turnovers, not to the benefit of the Bulldogs. You're keeping all the numbers in the right spots. If you're Girard, you just got to keep them there.
Yeah, and I think the Trojans have done a great job in this first half. It's just continuing to play how you played and continuing to get those turnovers, because that's where a lot of your easy points came from.
Well, we're transitioning pretty much just into the second half. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back for the second half of action.
Thanks to your support, Kenora Eye Care has expanded. With double the space, they offer more exam rooms, larger optical selection, and extended hours to fit your schedule. And with the latest technology, they can quickly diagnose any eye-related issues. All patients are welcome at Kenora Eye Care, the clear choice for your family's vision.
A partner in your fields and in your success. That's what you get with Murphy Seed. Channel seedsman Matt Murphy knows your field and can recommend the elite seed products designed to perform in your area, maximizing the profitability of every acre. And now Matt's care for farmers goes beyond seed as an agent for the new 4-state farm and ranch. From the best inputs available to the protection you need, call Murphy Seed at 620-249-6419. Your partner at every stage. Matt Murphy at Murphy Seed. From the phone call to the service call, Roto-Rooter is there with fast and reliable sewer and drain service. From repair and replacement to septic and grease trap pumping, Roto-Rooter is here for you. With video inspections, Roto-Rooter can identify the exact issue to get the repair done quickly and correctly. Complete sewer line repairs or replacements, Roto-Rooter has you covered. Serving Crawford, Bourbon, and Cherokee counties, Roto-Rooter, 620-231-5630.
At Girard Medical Center, our physical and occupational therapy department is dedicated to helping you bounce back stronger. Whether you're recovering from an injury, surgery, or just want to move better every day. From student athletes to seniors, we provide personalized care and expert support right here at home. To learn more about our therapy department and our other services, visit GirardMedicalCenter.com, a proud supporter of the Girard Trojans and your hometown team for health and healing. Rooted in rural, focused on you.
Back on Girard Sports Live, third quarter underway, 2026, the year that we are in right now, coincidentally, but also the score of this ball game. Beautiful halftime show performed by the Trojan dance team. If you missed it, be sure to go back and watch that. The basketball back underway as Hoffman gets the pass down low and delivers it from the post. As we've got a flop call against Blake Brocobb.
I mean, Anderson County's coach was kind of asking for a flop call earlier in the game whenever Briggs had fallen down, but I will say Blake has a little bit more size, but Briggs isn't too big, so I don't think a lot of contact will really not set him off balance.
Swinging it around the perimeter. Stevens over to Buckingham. Now delivers to Brocobb, who gets underneath and one. A great answer to a very unfortunate play on the other side of things.
Just a great response from Blake to get back on the other side of things and get that easy bucket and possibly a three-point opportunity.
That's one way to channel some energy. That's just a little frustration with the moment or whatever. You know, he didn't show it, but that's a great way to cool yourself down and also just keep your team in check, as well as not let the opponent build any momentum off of it. And this Girard team looking clean right now. I don't want to jinx it, but they're looking great on both facets of the game.
I mean, this team is starting to look like that well-oiled machine that we had kind of seen yesterday, that even though they were following Lebec County for most of the game, they were being efficient and they were having a good offensive game.
Brocobb for the three, can't get it. Cullen with the putback. Stevens with the third opportunity, and it won't go. Steele finally reels it in for Anderson County. And you like to see that third, fourth opportunity from Girard, but you'd like to see one of them go in at some point as well. This foul will be, I'm guessing, on the floor here. That whistle was pretty early.
I thought it was early, but
oh,
he's going to shoot.
Wow.
It's confusing sometimes.
Free throws coming up for Wheats as he drops in the first. Second here follows true. Now back to a 5-point difference. Cullen trying to get underneath on the post and doesn't get anything on that try. Very uncharacteristic miss from Ben Cullen. As down the other side of the floor, Wheat tries his luck underneath. Hoffman with the putback brings it back within one possession. Smith, Buckingham for three, cash!
There it is.
(32-26). Wheat looking to respond for the Bulldogs. As here's Steele, he will be fouled as he crossed the foul stripe. See who that goes against. Briggs Buckingham, guilty. That'll be the second team foul against Girard. Inbound to Hoffman. He kicks back out to Summer, who takes the three and bangs it in. A good answer there from Anderson County to keep it at one possession of separation. But we'll see what Girard has in store for this possession. Smith gets it inside to Cullen. Tries to make a move, and it's blocked by Hoffman. Jump ball, Ben Cullen.
Good jump ball from Ben.
That's phenomenal, and I know that that this Anderson County side is in disagreement, but Cullen had all ball.
I thought he
palming
did.
That thing.
And I mean, this Anderson County, where I'm hearing a lot of the chirping from, they are on the left of me, and they can't really see that angle. But from what I saw, Ben had both hands on the ball, and he made a great play.
Stevens to Smith, and now back to Stevens. Schultz pulls up from the wing, and yes! Bullseye from Briar Schultz. That guy's got a very clean stroke there.
And I mean, we've talked before about how just Briar's the type of guy, you can call him a multi-tool, that he will do whatever you need him to do in a night, and tonight it must be that three-point shooting.
Well, I was about to say, it looked like he was taking it to the paint there. Now Cullen tries for the putback, fighting for the rebound. Gets it again is Jackson Smith. Who's this foul going against? And they're gonna say that foul goes against Brylan Summer for cutting underneath Jackson Smith. The inbound to Stevens. Over to Buckingham, and now inside to Smith. Back out, Schultz for the triple.
Oh.
I thought he had it. Stevens
good.
grabs the board, now puts up another.
There it is!
Big time buckets from some big time players, and another one. Oh, almost a steal for Perrin Stevens. And we've got a foul called. Ben Cullen, I believe, is going to be accredited with this on the reach inside.
I think they're, okay. They're lining it up like it was going to be a shooting foul. I believed it was on the floor.
Yeah, it was. Hoffman was making a spin move underneath, and Cullen reached in on him. I think that's where the foul call came. It came from across the court, and I think that even that baseline judge, as we see the three, great way to try and shut down this momentum from Wheat. Stevens to Smith. Now Buckingham pulls up. Can't go, and it's rebounded by Summer. Now a chance here for Anderson County to try and answer the long streak of baskets. From the Trojans. We've got Coach Westcott calling a timeout as he wants to try and reel this game in. It's been a bit of a chaotic couple of minutes, 3:06 to go here in the third. I think this is a smart call by Westcott. Don't want to get things out of hand.
The scoring we've seen is just phenomenal from both teams, of just three-point shot after three-point shot, and just good shooters on both of these teams that have really just elevated the scoring here in the third quarter. And Girard kind of seems like they're going to really pull it away, but Anderson County is doing a good job of reeling it back in and keeping themselves competitive in this game.
6-point game. This is a piece of the largest lead that has happened in this game, which earlier was 9 after the 3 from Wheat was cut down to 6. Now the inbound from Summer for the Bulldogs. Kick out, Wheat for 3. Can't get it, it's just a bit short. And it's out of bounds on Anderson County. Smith. Schultz over to Stevens. Stevens drives inside, now kicks back out to Schultz, who travels. Turns the ball back over to Anderson County. Down the floor for Brylan Summer. Hand off, steal to Wheat. Steele with it now. 15 on the shot clock, as they have not made any progress on this offensive possession. Now here's the opening. Steele drives the base, lays it in, but it's in and out off the rim. Into the hands of Smith. Transition down the floor. Burke receives the pass. Good heads-up play by Harrison Burke. Over to Stevens. Now underneath to Schultz again, who goes up. Can't get it to fall. Smith fighting for the rebound, and we've got a jump ball. And now I believe we've got an ejection here. Maybe not.
I'm not sure what. I didn't see him.
Briar Schultz came in at the end of that equation on the shove, and I think I saw a motion for ejection.
And I mean, the Anderson County.
Maybe not an ejection. I believe this is actually just going as a technical. Schultz probably lucky, honestly. I know that.
And I don't think he pushed him that bad. I thought it was kind of just.
Well, I mean, I agree. You know, he's backing up his teammates. I love the grit. I love the fight. You want to have that momentum or that connection with your teammates, but he's probably lucky that he's still in the game, just because a lot of that excessive physicality usually isn't tolerated. But technical foul, that goes in the favor of Anderson County, and now they cut this lead down to 4. If you're Girard at this stage in the game, you've got to reel yourself in a little bit. I know motions are probably running a little bit hot. You've got Schultz out of the game. He's going to cool off here. Now a discussion with officials.
There's a lot going on right now, Drake.
Trying to see what's going on here at the scores table to see what the final call here is. But I saw there at the play. Now I will say, I'm going to back up Briar Schultz here a little bit because he was in defense. He wasn't the first strike, and I didn't see the first strike. What I saw was this Girard crowd get on their feet and raise their hands and erupt over something. I didn't see it quite, but everybody else in this arena saw it, and they got on their feet, and then I saw Schultz come in and make the push. So,
and I think the biggest thing was just a Anderson County player was holding onto the ball and kind of throwing elbows, and I think one of those elbows did in fact hit maybe Ben Colin, and Briar's just standing up for his teammate, and that's...
Which, like I said, I'm with Briar. I don't think that's I don't think it's a hothead or whatever move out of Schultz. Obviously, he's backing up his teammates. That kind of shows the connection that we've seen from all these Girard players, from Coach Westcott, who's talked about it, Coach Erlocker, who's talked about it. They've all talked about these teams having special connections, these guys being able to work together on all bases. And, of course, Schultz is going to step up for his teammate. But the technical, very deserved, I would say. A three won't go. Kick back out to Wheat for the triple, and that one's short, rebounded by Newton. A lot of momentum for this Anderson County team. Very important that those shots did not fall.
Drake, you can feel the tension in this room.
You see it. Brokob goes up and gets fouled.
And there's the foul.
And that is one way to bring it back in for the Trojans. You draw a foul. Summer, obviously, not too happy with the call, but that's been it. That's been there all night. I mean,
and after the foul, after the technical foul from Briar Schultz, you can see just the energy from the fans. You can see the entire Girard side standing up and cheering whenever Blake got fouled. The entire student section is back and standing, and they are as loud as they have been this entire game.
That one off the rim. Newton gets the rebound. Kicks out. Brokob for the triple. Can't get it. Burke. Reverse layup. Big time buckets from this Girard offense. Summer over to Wheat. Less than a minute to go, and Burke nearly gets the takeaway as Summer goes into the post. Hoffman will get fouled on his way back to the buckets. And Brokob holding that left hand.
And that's never a good sign. Just knowing from previously, Blake Brokob has had a little bit of issues with that hand, especially his thumb, knowing that he did break that thumb in football this last season. So
it looks like he's holding his index finger, which, not that that's a positive, but at least it's away from that previous break. So hopefully nothing too serious there for Brokob, as he's going to stay in the game here and tell Coach Westcott all is good. Back to a 5-point game with those free throws. Brokob received his second foul. Stevens now trying to knife his way inside, but kicks back out. Brokob inside to Newton. Back out to Brokob. Stevens gets fouled. Another one coming in the direction of Anderson County. What?
I'm not sure what.
So a couple of confusing things.
I'm not sure.
So they'll correct it. because Steele wasn't even near the play, and they initially called the foul on Braden Steele. Now they correct it. That was Brylan Summer. They had the wrong number. They had Stevens' number. But now Stevens at the line as it's 5 fouls.
And now the biggest confusion is that the scores table, the scoreboard, and the refs don't all match up. And
well, now this Anderson County side pleading that it was only the 4th. And you've got to double check with the scores table.
And I believe it was only the 4th, but just a lot of confusion and tension just resulting from this third quarter.
Well, they will get the inbound, 30.9 seconds to go. No more shot clock here as Smith tries to use the post, hands off, Brocombe fading, can't get the bucket, rebound Hoffman.
With 20 seconds left, this can very easily be the last possession of this third quarter.
Big chance for Anderson County to try and answer, and no, won't get it on that try. Out of bounds on Summer.
Looks like Briggs Buckingham will come into the game for Adrian Newton.
So once again, yeah, go ahead.
I mean, Coach wants his three-point shooter in these last 8 seconds.
I was about to say, once again, rolling with that kind of offensive specialty. We saw that same substitution late in the second, and now we've got a three-point shot from Smith that probably should have been called for a foul. But a lot of commotion. Time to take a breather as we will do it with them. Headed into the 4th. It's a 5-point game. We'll be right back after this.
Farmers Bank is a proud supporter of Girard Schools. For generations, Farmers Bank has worked with local leaders, businesses, and residents to help shape the future of Southeast Kansas. Farmers Bank is proud to have helped with the growth and development of the communities we serve. As partners in business and friends in life, Farmers Bank is looking forward to a brighter tomorrow. Farmers Bank, with locations in Hepler, Walnut, St. Paul, and Girard. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
It's a bird.
It's a plane.
It's Chicken Annie's Girard. When you're facing a chicken emergency, there's only one hero. Catering and carry out from Chicken Annie's Girard. When an onion ring craving is too much to bear, when the family's coming over and you weren't aware, it's Chicken Annie's Girard to the rescue. When there's 20, 30, 100 to feed, you need Chicken Annie's Girard indeed. A heroic value, superb flavor. When there's a chicken emergency, there's only one hero. Chicken Annie's Girard.
On the 4th quarter of action, 8 minutes to go, and a high intensity, everything peaking there in the 3rd quarter. Both teams just fighting to give themselves a chance at this victory. Pass across the way to Hoffman, who takes a long two, swirls out. It's rebounded and put back by Howie. Three-point game now. Burke to Stevens. Now over to Smith. Cross court to Buckingham. 15 on the shot clock. Buckingham to Burke. Back around the horn. 5 seconds as Smith drives. Gets the reverse layup, can't fall. And they will say it did not hit the rim in time. That is a shot clock violation, 7:06 to go here in the 4th, and it's a one-possession game. Not a bad possession out of Girard to use all of the time, but you need to see those shots go up just a little bit sooner. Here's a big-time three. Wow, from deep downtown. Braden Wheat ties this game up at 41 apiece.
And this is it. I mean, the Trojans had a big time thriller ending yesterday, and so will they get that other outcome tonight with the score being tied with only 6.5 minutes left in this fourth quarter?
This team just likes to keep you on your toes. And that shot, wow. That was a big block by Summer. Kicks it way out of bounds, but it stays with Girard, so. Inbound, Buckingham from the corner. He's wide open. Gotta keep your eye on him.
And you can't leave Briggs wide open.
Puts it back out of 3-point lead. Hoffman now trying to tie it up from the corner, and he gets it. A shootout here in Girard. 6 minutes to go here in the fourth. Brocob working the close side as he delivers to Smith around. Buckingham dribbles out of the corner. And back to Cullen on the cut. Steps through. Can't get it on the first go. Smith tries on the second. Ball's on the floor. And it's loose into the hands of Summer. Steele gives it out to Wheat. And around. Summer for the three. Off the front rim. No good. Out of bounds. Will stick with Anderson County. And there's been a couple of those on that side that could have gone either way. That one, Brocob trying to plead his case. 5:22 to go. Timeout called by Anderson County as they want to draw up an inbound. And we'll take a break. Be right back after this on Girard Sports Live, presented by Crawcan.
Farmers Bank is a proud supporter of Girard schools. For generations, Farmers Bank has worked with local leaders, businesses, and residents to help shape the future of Southeast Kansas. Farmers Bank is proud to have helped with the growth and development of the communities we serve. As partners in business and friends in life, Farmers Bank is looking forward to a brighter tomorrow. Farmers Bank, with locations in Hepler, Walnut, St. Paul, and Girard. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Whether you're trying to make the most of the next harvest, navigating a changing business landscape, or planning for the next chapter in your life, the professionals at Prime Accounting Solutions are here to help. With 10 locations, Prime Accounting offers convenient, friendly accounting and tax services at a fair price. Payroll, bookkeeping, business planning, personal tax filing, and more. And now Prime is the place to go for insurance. Trojan fans can find us at 408B North Grand in Pittsburgh or call 620-232-7305. To find a location near you, go to primeaccounting.net.
5:22 remaining, 44 points apiece for both of these teams. Both coaches drawing up something here on this inbound. Looks like a little bit of a zone defense here for Girard. The inbound a bit scattered for Anderson County. Buckingham gets the strip. Big turnover assisted by Stevens. And now working on the perimeter. .15 on the shot clock. Buckingham. Clock winding down. Stevens takes the three. Won't go, and it's rebounded by Wheat. Wheat working against Stevens, closely guarded. Now it looks like man defense. As Steele drives inside, got a whistle blown. On the floor against Ben Cullen.
That's
his fourth, I think.
Ben's fourth.
The only player in foul trouble in a game that's been relatively clean. Ben Cullen has just been the executioner so far tonight. Hoffman underneath, drops it in. Another lead for Anderson County. First one since half. As Buckingham was winding up a three. Here's Smith for the triple. Can't get it. A good box out from Anderson County. Gives them the rebound. Cullen trying to force a turnover there. Pokes it out of bounds. Now they'll slow down here. 2-point game, under 4 to go.
And I mean, Ben may not have gotten the possession there, but that was great effort from him.
And blocked by Cullen, blocked by Smith. Back-to-back blocked shots, and it's headed the other direction.
Just wow. I mean, incredible defense from the Trojans.
Cullen coming in with the two-handed block underneath. Hoffman receives it after the bounce off the backboard, and then Smith gets vertical. Now it's up to the offense to try and tie this one up or take a lead with a big three. Buckingham to Stevens. Cullen inside. Smith gets the open look. Wheat taking it down the floor. Still Anderson County advantage. Not taking the three there from Summer. Wheat was winding a long one up as well. You can tell those nerves kind of setting in for this Bulldogs team. Here's a long two, trickles out of the rim. Kick out, Wheat for three. Won't go either. Rebound, Cullen, and he'll kick it out to Smith for the transition.
And Briggs is open here in the corner.
Newton has a wide open look. And it's out of bounds. Last touched by Anderson County. I think it was Braden Steele. Every point, every look.
Adrian will take a seat. Harrison Burke will check into this game, and I like that change from Coach Westcott with Harrison being just so fundamental that it seems like every time he shoots, there's a very good chance that it'll go in.
Smith drives to the block.
Good basket.
Delivers. Jackson Smith takes the lead back with a two. Wheat tries to tie it up, and it's too strong. Rebound Smith. Back the other direction as Burke. Over to Stevens, and now Buckingham baits a man. Over to Stevens again. The perimeter looking a bit available, and Burke delivers again. Working together. This offense coming alive here in the fourth.
This arena is fired up, Drake.
Hoffman on the perimeter, hands off to Wheat. Inside of 90 seconds to go, 18 on the shot clock, a foul called against Perrin Stevens, as it looked like he had a takeaway there. A good break for Anderson County. And once again, I can't help but be a little bit shaky coming down the wire.
I am physically shaking. I feel like I said that last night. Just,
yeah.
It is right here, right now, basketball.
Hoffman to Summer as he tries to set something up from the outside. Finds a driving lane underneath. Misses the layup. Ooh. I thought that was a foul. Buckingham kind of pressed up on him, but he's lucky he didn't get the bucket. So now shooting two. Not a bad foul. Make him earn it here from the line.
Like you said, that'll be Briggs' second foul, so no player really in foul trouble other than Ben Colin.
Yeah, and I assume Colin's going to be riding the rest of this game out, and Coach Westcott's just going to be telling him, hey, you keep playing the way you're playing. If you foul out, you foul out. We'll get Newton back in there. We'll work Bro Cobb in at the base, whatever it takes. But just such a high-intensity game. The tension in the third.
Just a big game.
The shouts from the crowd, shouts from the bench, whatever it is, it's been a lot of tension on this floor. Something to note, Briar Schultz, out of the jersey wearers right now, is the only one that hasn't seen time here in the fourth. Ever since that technical, he has not come back in the game. So I don't know if he will see time, just seeing that we're coming down the wire, the final minute. Probably want your starters or...
But I mean, just looking down there, Briar was the one hyping up the guys going back on the court, giving high fives.
I mean, no player goes unnoticed on this squad.
No.
Here's Brylan Summer booting up for 2 free throws after the foul from Buckingham. That's only 3 for Girard, so they still got room for 1. As Summer spins out on the first. Wow. Second, almost does the same, but makes it a 3-point game with that make.
Still a 1-possession game, and so for the Trojans here, if you can score, who knows how well this lead can be and stay comfortable.
Yeah, score here is humongous for this Trojans team, and wasting the clock as well. Very essential. It was 20-15 now on the shot clock as they work it down to Smith. Smith at the post.
There you
Jumps
go.
52-47, back up to a 5-point lead. Anderson County got to move quickly, and they get another answer there with Braden Wheat. Wow. That was quick. Keeps the shot clock alive. Wheat has been that star guy. I know Hoffman was somebody we talked about at half, but Wheat certainly was relevant, and he has just made himself more and more here in this second half, showing out in some crucial moments for Anderson County, and that keeps them alive big time.
And I mean, just big buckets so far down in the stretch from both teams, and just the energy in this crowd is exceptional. This feels like a rival game, and the tension is definitely there between both of these Anderson County team fans, and the Girard Homes stands are just electric.
Well, and honestly, I would like to say I almost want to see a little more energy out of this Girard Home fan base. I mean, we're coming down the wire, 38 seconds left. I know probably a lot of these people think, this game's sealed away. It's going to be Girard inbound here, but I've seen some very, very crazy things happen, and with the shot clock still up in a 1-possession game, that leaves all opportunities on the field here for Anderson County. If I was Girard, if I get the ball down the floor onto the offensive side, I'm taking a shot at 1 second remaining on the shot clock. You just can't give them any time to do anything. But first and foremost, is getting the ball across midcourt.
And I mean, they're down by 3, and we've seen so far in this game how well Anderson County can shoot the 3. So any score here will really try to help you facilitate this game and end it now.
Almost a takeaway as Wheat jumps up and gets the tip on that. And now we've got a foul called against Aiden Steele.
And that will get rid of the shot clock with only 28 seconds remaining.
Which a piece of me feels like that's the right play, but another piece of me feels like maybe that was a bit rash. You do force an inbound here, and you had some luck on the first try with Cullen's pass nearly getting taken away. But now Stevens works it across, and we've got a collision. Not a bad foul once again from Anderson County. This one goes against Bo Howie.
So for the Trojans, I mean, you've wasted about, 15 seconds so far and still have possession.
They get it into Brocobb. Brocobb and Hoffman getting a little handsy. That's up to 3 team fouls as Hoffman gets his second. Just forcing inbound after inbound out of this Girard squad, hoping for something here. And if I were Hoffman, I would not have fouled back court. You get that ball back court, you got to try and hold him for 8 seconds. They get it in. Buckingham on the front side, and we've got another foul. That was an opportunity there as well. If Wheat hadn't fouled, that ball went out of bounds off of the hands of Cullen. I think they would have gotten the ball there and had 18 seconds to try and set something up.
And I mean, now the biggest thing is just got to get it in one last time and hope for the foul.
Once again, Smith gets it, gets fouled. That will be number 5. Number 4 for Summer. Now free throw time. Jackson Smith. Make 1 and you feel good. Make 2 and you feel amazing.
There it is.
The reason I say that, the reason I say making 2 and you feel amazing, as we see a timeout called, is we saw how quickly Braden Wheat was able to go down and score a 2. So if you take that into account, you're gonna want that extra free throw to tack on. That makes it a 3-point game with a 2, and then you can make another free throw to make it another 2-possession game. So that's the key. Keeping it at a 2-possession game is key here in the final couple of seconds. Four-point game. Now, if Jackson Smith misses this free throw and you're Anderson County, are you pulling up for 3 or are you pulling up for 2?
I think the biggest thing is just you could do really either. I mean, you've had success just driving quickly down into the paint and getting an easy layup, but a lot of the success from this team has come from just three ball. I mean, it seems like every single player on this Anderson County team can really score from almost anywhere on the court, and even their big man that we talked about, number 42,
Kaufman,
being Kaufman, I think he still has the ability to shoot the 3.
Here's Smith's free throw.
There it is.
And I think that takes all the deliberation out of it. Now, if you're Anderson County, it's 3-ball time. Got to make a 3-pointer. And I'm giving it to Wheat. That won't go. Hoffman with the putback off the rim, and we've got a collision. Ben Cullen rose up, gets fouled by Steele. His 4th of the game sends Ben Cullen to the line, and a hard-fought effort from both sides of the floor. But this one, I believe, is going to end up with the Trojans.
And this should be it, just like you're saying. With 2 makes, this will definitely seal the game.
I would say.
Even without them.
Yeah, I would say even with, yeah, two makes for sure. Yeah. Well, First one off the mark from Cullen. Like we said, not necessarily essential free throws, just more so for the comfort of the Miracle. Second one's off the mark. Steele, or Wheat, his pass taken away by Brocob, and that is the ball game. Girard sweeps the Bulldogs here at home in a high-intensity matchup to wrap up the night. 49-54, the final score, as we will go ahead and send this pretty much right into the post-game show, which is brought to you by Eastside Cafe. Experience the best breakfast in town 6 days a week at 120 South Ozark Street in Girard. Eastside Cafe, a proud supporter of Trojan Athletics. And with that, Caleb, give me your nominee for shot of the game, brought to you by Bradshaw Collision Repair.
I mean, shot of the game, the last shot kind of there that stood out to me was just from Jackson Smith. I mean, that too, that kind of, I mean, that's what kind of almost made me feel like in that moment, made it feel like the Trojans were winning right then and there. And so just, that was the biggest shot for me tonight, of just that really kind of seemed like to seal it. Even though these Bulldogs were given another opportunity, that's whenever the momentum fully shifted in the Trojans' favor.
Yeah, and, you know, I totally agree. Just kind of getting that momentum there at the end. This team was, you know, dealing with mental, you know, barriers. I won't say like a mental problem or breakdown, but it was a barrier, you know, just trying to get past some of that frustration there in the third and the second quarter. Both teams dealing with that frustration, obviously. And then, of course, dealing with that Anderson County team coming back in the game, bringing it back to just a couple of possessions, maybe, or came down to one at one point as well. But what a performance from Girard to pull this one back, get it to a two-possession game, and take home, well, I guess keep the W at home, not take it home. But for the player of the game, or go ahead and talk about the sponsor of Shot of the Game. That is Bradshaw Collision Repair. Bob Bradshaw offers refinishing, paintless, dent repair, glass replacement, and more. Let Bradshaw Collision Repair get you back in the game. Call 620-724-7300. And we will go ahead and talk about the player of the game up next, which is brought to you by tonight's Girard Booster Club Game Day sponsor, which is Producers Co-op Association. For more than 75 years, PCA has proudly served Southeast Kansas and Southwest Missouri as a full-service, member-owned agricultural cooperative. Right here in Girard, PCA is proud to support local families, schools, and community events, investing in the neighbors they serve every day. Visit PCA at any one of our locations, including Girard, Fort Scott, Liberal, and Mountville. Caleb, what do you got for player of the game tonight?
I mean, just looking at player of the game, there are so many just guys that you could say, and I know we had talked about it yesterday where it feels like we say everyone deserves it, but tonight, genuinely, looking at the scoring chart, our leading scorers were Perrin and Jackson, with both having 9, followed by Blake and Briggs, who had 8, Harrison had 7, Ben had 4, Adrian had 2, and Breyer had 3, so just even scoring tonight on the offensive side of things from all the guys, and it just seemed like everyone was really contributing on that factor. But I mean,
yeah, that is,
it's difficult. It is.
That is the definition of an even spread right there.
I think.
And I feel like, you know, we gave it to Blake and Ben a couple of times here recently, and with Jackson Smith tied for the leading scorer, I'm going to give it to him because I feel like it's been a while that we haven't said his name, but he also well-deserved player of the game tonight. He was playing so well down low, hit a big-time a couple free throws, had all those twos working in the post, assisting Ben Cullen, Blake Brocob, all the other guys working down low. That was a great performance out of Jackson Smith tonight, and made a big-time two as well late in the game.
And, I mean, I agree with you on that one. I think that is a great option with that kind of last shot that we had talked about being so crucial that Jackson was able to hit. The only other person that I'd like to give a shout out to is Briar Schultz, and I know he didn't play really there in that end, but Briar took some contact. He did get that foul, but I think that's kind of what gave this team, he lit that fire, and that's what pushed them to this win. And I think Briar was doing a great job whenever he was on the court, and he was really able to motivate the team when he was on the bench. So just a shout out to Briar Schultz also tonight.
Yeah, I can't endorse the contact necessarily. Can't say, I'm glad he did it. But I will say, Briar Schultz, a great team player. He's, you always just see him hyping up his teammates, hyping up the crowd, getting people going, and a great player on the court as well. Like we said, kind of playing wherever he needs to. He's just such a good support role for this team where he's at right now, and that's just being able to play down low if he needs to, play the perimeter if he needs to. Whatever it is, he's there, and he does it pretty well. So I agree with that honorable mention there on Briar Schultz. But with that, we've got the post-game coaches interview coming up to you, presented by Community National Bank and Trust. Serving the area for 30 years, stop in soon to pick up your very own Girard Trojan Instant Issue Mascot Debit Card. Community National Bank and Trust is a proud supporter of Girard Schools. Learn more online at mybankcnb.com. We'll take a break. We'll be right back with that post-game coaches interview.
At Fort Scott Community College, we understand that a scary part of figuring out your future isn't only answering the question, what should I do, but where do I belong? Maybe you belong here as part of Fort Scott Community College's John Deere Tech program. Maybe you belong here as part of the perennial playoff-bound Greyhound baseball team. I don't know where you've been or where you're headed, but I know we're saving a spot for you because you belong at Fort Scott Community College.
Here at Pittsburgh Interiors, we are proud to be family-owned and operated, serving our community with quality style and service since 1999. Step into our showroom and explore furniture, flooring, window treatments, mattresses, and more. Whether you're designing a dream home, office, or simply just adding that finishing touch, our expert team is here to help. Discover why families and businesses have trusted us for over 25 years. Pittsburgh Interiors, where style meets comfort and family comes first.
A partner in your field.
Alrighty, welcome back to Girard Sports Live. And I just have a little shout out for the After Prom Committee. Are you looking for a winning way to support our high school juniors and seniors? If you're feeling lucky, you can head to St. Michael's Catholic Hall on February 21st starting at 6:30. The Girard After Prom Committee is hosting a bingo night fundraiser featuring a silent auction and concessions. Every dollar raised will help provide a safe, fun, and drug-free party for our high schoolers after prom. All are welcome. Help us make this year's After Prom a success. See you all on February 21st at the Catholic Hall.
Thank you for that, Caleb, and we will go ahead and send it into our coaches interview here on the post-game show with head coach Wes Scott. Coach Wes Scott, once again, thank you for joining us here on the post-game show. Congratulations on the victory tonight. Another hard-fought game. I'm going to guess you've got something to say about this effort from your team, as that was a great ending to such a very high-energy night.
Yeah, we laid it all on the line last night, and, we showed a lot of character tonight and coming out and giving that effort again.
Yeah.
When our effort's there, we give ourselves an opportunity, and I thought we had good minutes from everybody tonight. Kids played hard. We're still giving up some offensive boards that are driving me nuts, but hopefully we'll figure that out. But, yeah, good hard-fought game. Kids competed hard and did some good things down the stretch. We made some free throws tonight, which was nice to see. Kids competed hard, and good things happened.
Going into next week, you've got 2 home games. What difference does it make to have this 6th man out here in this arena here at Girard High School?
Well, we had a great crowd tonight. Last night was a great environment over there at Altamont, too, and it was loud. The kids, they feed off of that. All kids do. If you're out there playing in front of a big crowd, we got some of the best fans around. So got to love that. I know there's a lot of people sitting at home watching it, but it's so much more fun when you're here. So come and enjoy it. We're back to league schedule next week, and I think, unfortunately, I think it's homecoming week next week, so we got to deal with that. But I think we got 2 home games at Columbus on Tuesday. So get back. We know each other really well. They're a team that's much improved, and we'll have to get back after it and give a good effort again Tuesday night.
Yeah, I was going to just mention that, you're still in that kind of second session of CNC games. You're coming kind of into the heart of that second session. You got Riverton up next week, as well as Columbus up first. So is there something that you're kind of telling your players about? I know, it's just kind of a work-hard environment, and they're getting out there, they're giving it their all, but is there something specific that you're telling them booting up for next week?
Well, we just got to keep working on us, and, I think we've done that all year, and that can't change. We just got to continue to get better. Rebounding is still a key for us. Communication on the floor. When it's loud like this, you've got to be loud yourself in communications. We had a couple kids tonight mixed up. I'm not sure. One of them thought we were in 32. One other thought we were in 12, which is calls for our defense. So they just didn't communicate loud enough to where they were all on the same page, and we give up an easy one there. So those things come into play, but I think we're learning from it.
Yeah.
Kids understand that when we talk and communicate, we're a lot better. And when we play hard, we're a lot better. So going to keep getting after it, and we'll see what happens here down the stretch.
Last question here, Coach, as looking at the stat sheet, a very even scoring spread tonight, just kind of showcasing the abilities of not only the starters on the floor, but your bench players. All these guys working together with a great chemistry. Is there something behind the scenes that we should know about that just kind of develops that relationship on your team?
Well, our guys are, they've played some ball together now, so starting to understand what each other do well, kind of where to look for each other, and the more we play together, the more that's going to happen. But you're right, we got some good minutes from our bench tonight. Those guys come in and competed hard. As long as they're doing that, they're going to be helping us down the stretch, and we're only going to be better for it in the long run.
Well, thank you again, Coach, for joining us on the post-game show, and we hope you have a great weekend, and we'll get ready to
been a long week. We're going to get a couple days off here, get our legs back under us, and hopefully we'll be full bore next week.
Of course, looking forward to it. Thanks again for joining us, and that will pretty much do it here for Girard Sports Live. Signing off from Drake, Caleb, and Sarah, and the rest of the Varsity Sports Live crew, we say good night, and we will see you all next week as Girard gets set to take on Columbus here in Girard.
Thanks for watching. From the gridiron to the hardcourt, the pitch to the mat, don't miss any of the action. We're there with live, local sports coverage at VarsitySportsLive.com.